And, well, it says I'm live, so ahoy hoy, I'm playing a walk. And, well, today is my birthday. I really need to come up with an intro for these, like... Well, I suppose, like, a cold start does sometimes work, you know? Like, if you're watching the news, they don't give you that much time to at least... I don't remember. Like, they try to not spend too much time on intros. It's not like a live stream. People usually know when to tune in each time at an exact time. You know? So, anyway, how is everyone doing? I hope people are doing alright. We will have, hopefully more than one guest on. I do have someone messaging me, so that is good. But yeah, I am now 29, which is kind of scary. Yeah. I do not like how old I'm getting. What happened to the past, 9 years? Well, I know what happened for two of them. Two of them were spent studying. But, the other 6... You know, what happened? Is this just, the rest of my life? How, will I just be wondering for the rest of my life where the last decade went? Is that my fate? I'm not a big fan of that. But yeah, so yeah, I'm 29. That's scary. It'll probably be even scarier next year because then I'll be 30. And yeah, that's another number at the start. I do still remember when I had a 1 at the start. A little bit, not a whole lot. My memory's not that good. But, you know. Congratulations on reaching level 29. Thank you. That is... I'm not sure how much of an achievement that is, but I'll take it as an achievement. I just have to exist. And I do hope to exist for plenty more years. You know, there's a few people that I need to beat in terms of longevity, I feel like. If I can... Look. Firstly, I want to try and make it to a decent age. I hope that I get to, I don't know, 80. 80 sounds like a good goal. Or at least retirement age. If that still exists by the time I reach retirement age. Although, we're talking at least 30 years down the track. So at least I'm not halfway there. That would be even scarier if I was, which is, not too far away, but we probably shouldn't think about that too much because, that seems a little scary again. But, I think that sometimes it is a little... Sometimes it's a good idea to just enjoy things as they are, no matter how, horrifying the prospect of getting too old seems, but, I'm just wondering where the last decade went, is all. But, maybe it's a good idea to focus on what will happen in the next decade, which I am hoping that the next decade is better than what we've had so far, given that, what even happened and what good stuff, objectively good stuff happened in the past decade. There's some cool stuff that happened. With age comes wisdom. Sometimes. I think that it depends on how you Like, I have actually responded to a video where someone says, oh, this kid is 19, I'm 31, why am I talking to a 19-year-old? I'm like, just because you're a certain age doesn't mean that you're better. You know, there's, like, young people can be intelligent too. I've had that argument used against me as by flat earthers, so, you know, just because, like, at the time I was 22, but just because I was 22 at the time doesn't mean that, like, I am wrong about the shape of the Earth. Like, you're a flat earther. Just because you have a few more years on me doesn't make you any more right than me. In fact, by virtue of being a flat earther, you are more wrong than me. But, hello, Andara Blid. Why am I having trouble words? Andara Blidden. Hope you're having a good day. I need to. One of the things I need to do is I need to make cupcakes today, because I'm having like a small gathering in a day or two. No, 2 days. Exactly 2 days. So I need to make a few cupcakes for that. They're going to be gluten and lactose free, because there's a couple of people who are going to be at my gathering who are gluten and lactose free. Or gluten and lactose intolerant. So, you know, just trying to accommodate people. Oh! Avatar Stormcrow for $50 says happy birthday, and thank you, Avatar Stormcrow. I will try to have the best birthday I can. Although I try to do that every year. Sometimes it works out really well. Well, I'll try to make sure today's a good day at least, you know. It's always, you know, as I said, gonna make some cupcakes. I'm trying to think of what else I'm going to do today. I don't really know. I have an idea. I know what one of the things I might do. I might, like, I have some mushrooms, and I'll probably like chop them up and cook them up. I do like when I've got mushrooms, I often cook them with in a pan with salt, and I cook mushrooms in a pan with salt, and I add some garlic in. I call them garlic mushrooms, and I actually, oh no, I was gonna say I actually have some like actual garlic, but like I just realized that the way that I cook them probably isn't that well conducive to like me just cutting up garlic. Garlic is surprisingly difficult to cut up, I found. Maybe I don't cut it up enough because I get like the garlic that you buy in that's already pre-crushed for you. So I don't really need to worry about, what happens if I cut this up? But, you know, I also have some ginger. But I do have an idea where to use the garlic that I have as like a clove. And so I'm thinking of using that to ward off vampires tomorrow. Because, hey, it's like, you know, hang out. That's actually a Halloween decoration that I can use. Just hang a thing of garlic out. Gooey Duck Geoscience says, I'm very bad at cutting garlic. I know this forthright time I did cook a steward course back when I was a sea cadet. Yeah, but I'm, like, Gooey Duck, I know you don't like garlic, is the thing. The times that I have tried to make you garlic stuff, you've gagged at the smell of garlic, so I know you... Like, that's understandable why you do not like garlic. Bob Bobby says, happy birthday. Thank you, Bob Bobby. yeah. Just like casually telling people about other YouTubers that I know and what I know about them. I mean, I don't know much about other YouTubers. Like all I know is that Alice, Alice in Wonder Wonderland, can make ham bagels, and that's like the main thing I know about Alice. Oh yeah, like I could tell everyone like, what could I tell everyone? I don't think I know your most damaging secrets. Like, I can't expose you. Oh yeah, you just don't like not liking onion as well. Like, that's pretty damaging. But yeah. I do know, like, some things about, like, some people. Not going to say what things about which people. But some people tell me about, this stuff happened, or I'm doing this or that, and the next thing. And it's like, can you not tell anyone? I'm like, sure. This is now that I think about it, there's like a few people that have done this as well, who have told me like a little tidbit or something, and have like been, can you not tell anyone? I'm like, cool, yeah, that's fine. But sometimes it's like, wait, has that information come out yet as well? Because quite often people will say something and then like tell everyone anyway, but like it can't, and like I don't always keep up with everything that's going on in the spheres that I'm in, which is a little annoying sometimes. I wish I could be just on top of everything, but if I was on top of everything, I wouldn't have time to do anything. Well, I'd have time to maybe program or stuff, but I wouldn't have time to make videos at all, because everyone just makes so much content that it is impossible sometimes to just keep up with everything that people put out, and then, I mean, to be fair, sometimes there'll be people that will that I don't really interact with, that I also watch the content of. But that's like a part of, like, I don't want to like be stuck to only watching one type of content. Like, there is only so much stupid that I can handle before I'm like, no, we're just listening to music now. Because at least in music, they're not always, well, at least with the music that I listen to, they tend not to like say things like the earth is flat, or that dinosaurs are fake and gay. Although there's actually, maybe they should, at least with the gay part. Maybe they should say that dinosaurs are gay, and that will be what the whatchamacallit that we're. Well, that wouldn't actually be stupid then, because there were probably there were probably gay dinosaurs. Gooey Duck, you do. I don't know if you're still in the chat, but you do like dinosaur stuff. Have they found any gay dinosaurs yet? If anyone's gonna know, it's you. So we'll see with that. See if there's any gay dinosaurs. I kind of hope that one day. I kind of hope that one day they do. Gaynosaur. I hope that one day they do find gay dinosaurs. It's just a matter of really. Do they like, A, what do you consider a gay dinosaur? And B, well, penguins are dinosaurs and gay penguins have... Oh, right, yeah, like, you can't... Okay, so, well, dinosaurs are gay, and penguins are fake, so therefore that makes dinosaurs fake and gay. There we go. We logicked ourselves into a Flurf-like position with facts and logic. It's very hard to ascertain these things from just by... Yeah, that is true. But, like... I mean, have you... I mean, I suppose, like... It wouldn't... Because I'm just thinking about, like, how sometimes you find, like, people, like, in Pompeii who are, like... in an embrace or something. I wonder if you find that at all with dinosaurs, or if they're like, or if dinosaurs are more like, oh, there's this lava thing coming for me. I should probably run. I was helping Anon Spice at again. They sell gay dinosaur art. I mean, yeah, like, look, if people like Candace Owens can say that dinosaurs are fake and gay, then we gotta lean into that with the gay part. I think it's like if they're gonna give us dinosaurs, we gotta lean into that. Can't let everyone else have the fun, you know. Pompeii has been misinterpreted massively, possibly, yeah. You know, there are things that, like, it is hard to know, like, I mean, I think a lot of stuff that we've seen in the past has been misinterpreted massively, or at least looking at it from our modern viewpoint, because, like, sometimes our modern sensibilities aren't quite what they would, sometimes don't apply to the past. I've seen a good video on it. I think it was from Mia Mulder, probably, who, because I think she's, like, does history stuff. But anyway, when it comes to stuff, like, often we try to apply what we think in the modern time, or at least apply our own biases to things in the past when that may not be necessarily how things worked back then. There are plenty of instances of dinosaurs being buried together, but determining exactly why the relationships between them and the sex of the individuals can be hugely challenging. Dinosaurs of the same species, yeah. The edgy Corviknight. Happy birthday to everyone's favourite Kiwi trans girl. Yes! I do like being everyone's favourite Kiwi trans girl. You know. I know that... I know that Alice wants to take that title, but I'm not letting her. I will still be everyone's favorite. Yeah, I think that was her video talking about which historical figures were and weren't trans. Yeah, because like sometimes historical figures may have traits that today we would consider to be trans. I think it can even be applied to, like, I think I've seen people talk about, like, oh, Kurt Cobain was trans, and it's like, as much as that would be, as much as it would be nice to think something like that, I just don't think that we can really, like, even within that thing, like, I don't want to apply being trans to someone who wouldn't have identified that way. You know, like sure, if someone identifies as trans, then fine, like, you're trans. But if someone doesn't identify as trans, then I feel a little uncomfortable ascribing that to them. Mr. 42 says, let's flurf our way out of it. Has anyone seen the volcano erupt in 79? Well, anyone we know was there? No, faking gay. Exactly. I've never seen a volcano eruption, so volcanoes are fake. Oh, speaking of volcanoes, there is one volcano that I have heard people talk about. And like a lot of people, like people love the idea that maybe there'll be some kind of cataclysmic event happen in our lifetime. And like people talk about being overdue for like the Yellowstone eruption, for example. But I've actually heard a few people say that when it comes to Yellowstone in particular, it is possible that it may just never erupt again because, yeah, sure, it's had plenty of eruptions in the past, or like 4. Was it 4 or 6? I can't remember the exact number. But it's had a few big eruptions in the past, but like it may just not erupt like that again because like even though it may have done that in the past, things change. Sebastian Wilger says, "Happy birthday, greets everybody from Germany." Thank you. I am glad that the entire country of Germany is wishing me a happy birthday. But yeah, same with an argument I had with the conservative who claimed that C.S. Lewis would have been a terrible if he was alive now, but he does not know that, but ascribe bigotry. I'm assuming transphobe, but ascribe bigotry to him arbitrarily. Yeah, like a lot of people like to say, "Oh, this person would have agreed with me." Like, I think it's okay. It seems to not be buffering. I think a lot of people greets everyone in chat from chat. Okay. But yeah, I think a lot of people try to say, "Oh, this person." Like, we see this with George Carlin all the time, where it's like, "Oh, George Carlin would be on the conservative side now," and it's like, would he? We don't know that because, surprise, surprise, George Carlin is not alive today. If you want to like do some like medium stuff, be my guest. But I am just telling you that he's not alive today. We cannot ascribe, "Oh, he would be conservative. Oh, he would be leftist." We can't do. In fact, like he did not like Republicans at the time, and Republicans have gotten even more extreme since then. So, you know, we can maybe say, "Oh, he would be." He would be against Republicans, but even then, we don't know that because, again, he's not alive today. Even if we take, like, "Oh, he was against Republicans at the time, Republicans have been more extreme today," he might change his mind, because that does happen. We just don't know. Thomas Badach says, for 99 Planner Walk money, says, "Happy birthday. Here are some brand new planner nukes. May they serve you in the further conquest of dark mass." Oh, planner nukes. What am I going to use them for? We're going to bomb the moon. We've been needing to bomb the moon for a while. Don't ask me why. Mr. Mojo Risen says, "Congrats, I can confirm this whole Germany thing." Also, so I was right. Like, everyone from Germany does wish me a happy birthday. I wasn't misunderstanding anything earlier. Bomb the moon, okay, Musk. I mean, hey, like, there may be... No, please do not bomb the moon, it's my son. But, like, what if we want to, like, find some stuff out about the moon? It's a scientific endeavor. We can also bomb... there's one, like, place that I'm thinking of bombing. I can't remember... It's a moon. I remember that much. It's a moon... Is it... I don't think it's Ganymede. Is it Io? There's the one that's covered in ice. Anyone know the moon that I'm talking about? Like... Anyone like Jupiter? Do we have some Jupiter appreciators in chat? Transpanic says, happy birthday from everyone British. And thank you. I do know that there are a couple of British people in chat. Europa. Oh, yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, we're going to bomb Europa. Not Europe, Europa. That has to be IO because it starts with I and so does ice. I mean, scientists are terrible at naming things in a way that would make sense to most human brains. Like, yeah, when I think of ice, I think IO because, yeah, it starts with I. But no, we don't exactly go with that. Why don't I just look it up? Because a few people are saying IO. Which of Jupiter's moons is covered in ice? Europa. It's Europa. Okay, cool. We figured that one out. I'm just messaging someone. So, Jess on for $100 Australian dollars. For $100 says happy birthday planner from Oz. Curses in was rooting for your IO. Yeah, like I'd hope that it was IO because it's easy to remember, but Europa. Like, Europe... Oh, here we go. Let's... Ahoy hoy.
Ahoy hoy.
How are you doing? Let me bring this up.
I'm okay. I'm having a bit of a rough time, but I'm okay.
Yeah. I did hear a bit about... hear a bit about that. So, you know... That's very understandable.
Yeah, just a few other things as well. I'm just, I've had a bit of a breakdown, so just bear with me. I'm just trying to grab myself together.
Yeah, I can understand that. I'm just gonna heart the...
I'm just gonna mute myself for 2 minutes because I'm just gonna be back in 2 minutes. Okay.
Okay. Probably like move that over there so that every time I want to check out the chat, it doesn't like come up on my screen. Oh, I just realized. Oh no, my bad. I was confused. I see different things, and then you know. But yeah, what was people saying in chat? So oh yeah, we were talking about like IO. And how we will... Can we like? Is it too late to rename Jupiter's moons? Is that something that we can do at this point? Like, can we just say, hey, Io would make much more sense? Like we could just name things by consensus of like people like saying, oh, this will be the name of this moon. You know, it's like, oh yeah, the one covered in ice was Europa yesterday, but today that one is Io. Yeah, I've actually met someone called Io, so Io is like a cool name in terms of like in terms of just names as well. I mean, we renamed the Gulf of Mexico because we can. True. Okay. I know Donald Trump isn't watching this, but have you met someone Europa? No, I have not. I just know of the band, and even that, I think the band is Europe. Anyway, yeah, we could petition Donald Trump to rename the moons of Jupiter. I mean, it's better than all the other things that he's doing. JDM says, hello, fellow October birthday, happy birthday. And hello to another, October birthday person. It's like 12. No, not 12. It's like, about 9. I think about 9% of us. 8 or 9%. I think about 9%, roughly in that ballpark. Is born in October. I think probably. It's probably like some fluctuations that happen over the year, just because that's how people like to do certain things at certain times rather than other times. Anyway, Joe Blog says we, meaning one person, now calls it Gulf of America. Yeah, like I know that it is annoying how much when it comes to like corporations like Google and stuff. It is annoying how much they've kind of kowtowed to the current administration or the current US administration, and just like accepting, oh yeah, I kind of wish there would be a bit more pushback, and it's annoying that there isn't. 100% of the people in my room were born in April. That makes sense. But yeah, Joe Blog says mine was also on Monday. Oh, another October person, October birthday person. But have a few more times around the sun for me. Yeah, I mean, I plan to go around the sun as many times as I can. And we'll see how my trips around. Technically, I can be dead and make some trips around the sun, but like, let's not get ahead of ourselves. There is a lot of pushback. It just doesn't make it to the news. Things are different. Oh yeah, when it comes to like protests and stuff, yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of pushback. But like, a lot of that pushback isn't sort of making its way, I don't think, to people with power, or at least with because I don't like corporations, but like, we got to admit that corporations do hold a significant amount of power, and that's why a lot of conservatives like to. Welcome back, Craig. How you doing?
Yeah, sorry about that. I'm okay. I'm good.
Yeah.
Just yeah, I'm good. Happy birthday, Planet Walk. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Just like, I haven't done much today, but hopefully I keep myself.
Isn't it only 7 o'clock in the morning over there or something?
It's 8 a.m.
Well, of course I haven't done much yet. It's 8 fucking a.m.
Exactly. We'll work out stuff to do over the course of the day. I do actually want to talk to you about something, because I saw some of your debate yesterday.
Yeah. Not very happy.
When watching that debate, I was gearing up to actually make a video, right? And the premise of the video is there's this person that says, there's this person that I saw on Instagram say something like, I'm trying to remember the exact thing that she said. It was like, I can speak for 4 hours on a subject. Guess how much research I've done? 0. I just use common sense. That is literally what she says.
Yeah, I felt like that was my opponent's last night, except there was no common sense. No matter how many stats and figures and citations and reports and statistics I would give, we don't trust those.
Yeah.
Every single bit of fucking data. From the CSIS, from the Department of Homeland Security, from the FBI, from the ADL, from the AEADL, every single one of them agree with the statistics that I put, but no, they didn't believe them.
Yeah.
And they just were cherry picking, and moderating was so bad. And there is a reason why the moderating was bad last night. And I'm not in a good mood after that debate last night.
Yeah. Joe Bloggs says, I hate the phrase common sense. And me too. Like, I recorded that video. The video that comes out on Saturday, I recorded that video yesterday. And that is something that I mention, that I despise the term common sense, because it's just used so much as kind of a way to make it seem like your feelings about something are just like the way that everyone understands that my feelings are valid.
Apparently, feelings are in a debate apparently just as valid as facts. You know, they were just so dishonest. Oh, well, they're not including BLM. Yeah, well, BLM's not really a left-wing movement. That's not how that works. But we're classing it as a bit of a left-wing movement, therefore we win, and therefore there's more violence. And
yeah, and like when it comes
even if you include that, there's still more violence on the right, and there's still more deaths from violence on the right.
And with the thing with BLM is that is where it gets tricky, because are we going to? Because I know that there was a point where state violence was brought up. Because when it comes to state violence, are we going to classify that as left-wing, or are we going to classify that as right-wing? The state, when Donald Trump literally orders, the police to clear out an area for a photo op, like, you can't classify that as left-wing violence, because, it's the right-wing president of the fucking US that is ordering that.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's fucking not talk about politics or that stupid, horrible waste of a space debate last night that I fucking stayed up till 6:10 in the morning for and got nothing but fucking issues. So let's not talk about that and focus on you having a fantastic birthday.
Yeah. I'm just gonna... if you can talk about that for a second, I'm just going to be messaging someone who can hopefully join us.
Hi. Planner Walk is officially 15 years old today. Did you guys know? I mean, just look at her. Brand new and everything.
I wish I was
almost 15. An adult.
Like, with getting to 29, I kind of wish that maybe not 50.
You're what? No, you're not 29. You're like 18 or something. Shut the fuck up.
I wish I was 18. Like maybe, because one of the annoying things is that it seems that over the past year, my knee has kind of not been working how it used to.
Well, I know that feeling. Trust me.
Yeah.
What have we got planned for today for your birthday then? You doing going out, getting drunkies?
Probably not. Like, I'm having a gathering in like 2 days, just like with a few friends and stuff.
So you're one of those people that do like a birthday week because you think you're extra special?
Well, no, it's more that, sometimes you have to be like, okay, we're going to gather on Saturday rather than Thursday. Not everyone is free on Thursday, unfortunately. They should be, but unfortunately I don't control the world.
Yeah, give me a few years, I'll be on that, don't worry.
Yeah, we had to drag you out of that alternate timeline where you took over the world after, you went...
Do you realise how many bloody work I put in for that, and now I've got to do it again?
Yeah, you didn't really have to do that much work. You just had to, take knowledge of nuclear technology back to, 1930s and then bomb New York.
Yeah, New York was the first target, obviously.
Yeah.
But in my timeline, it wasn't occupied by Americans. It was Nazis. So I did the right thing there. But it did work, so,
Yeah, I'm still not a good thing you did. I know exactly how that timeline went.
Look, good and necessary were different things over there, okay? You think this timeline was dumb, full of idiots and horrible people? I had to take over there. It was necessary.
Yeah, but you kind of caused the whole, America joining terms with Germany, joining teams with Germany, which, the butterfly effect.
To be fair, though, Germany did kind of rule most of the world over there because America couldn't go to help out in the Second World War. So, look, it's better off now with what I put in place, and just give me 5 or 6 years here, and you'll see how it worked, because it's going to happen here as well. No, Lucy, don't start yet. Oh shit! No. Next time, please. Yeah, sorry. I'm just making sure Lucy isn't launching the nukes yet.
Yeah. Well, I got some plan on nukes, so I'm thinking of bombing Europa.
Do it.
Because
wait, no, I live there.
You live on Europa?
Yeah. Well, at least on Thursdays.
Okay. But anyway, where was I? That makes
you were telling people about your birthday.
Oh yeah. I don't know exactly what I'm doing. I'm probably gonna make some cupcakes. I do like making little here's the thing. I never follow a recipe, which gives me a lot of the only recipe I follow is this is about enough of that. This is about enough of that.
Yeah. Whereas I'm a bit more into science, so I do recipes as they're intended and then burn the food anyway.
Look,
that's why I'm actually really good at cooking.
Look, what I'm doing is science, right? It's literally just experimentation, going, oh yeah, I think this will result in this, and if it does result in that, my hypothesis was correct. If it doesn't result in that, then I need to work on it for next time.
Yep. Who's coming? Who's joining us?
I tried to get Creaky, but apparently he's got company. So and the other person who I tried to invite just said that she's not at home at the moment. So So at the moment it's just us for now. I have also invited MCToon. I tried to invite Dave McKeegan, but he hasn't gotten back to me yet. And then I think there's a few other people that I've tried contacting.
I hope they can join.
I hope so too. But yeah.
Bear with me.
Also, so if I'm just gonna so there is a thing that I found out about recently that I've mentioned to a few people. Has anyone heard of, I think it's called the Digital Social Hour? It's like a podcast that I've seen clips of it. I've seen clips on it from clips of it from Instagram, right? Usually with the ADHD trap down the bottom so that it distracts you so that you watch it again. Anyway, I have been finding that whoever, I think it was Sean Kelly or someone who runs the podcast, I think he does a bad job at if you thought Joe Rogan did a bad job at letting cranks on, this person does an even worse job at letting cranks on.
Yeah.
He'll just he'll have someone that believes in Bigfoot on, and it doesn't even seem like he really pushes back on it.
Right.
And I know in one case, with that person who, because the person who I responded to yesterday, video is going out in a few days. He basically just kept on agreeing with her. Even though she was just using feelings over facts and logic, and it's and it's that I feel is irresponsible. To have if you invite someone onto something, let's say you invited, I don't know, I don't know, like let's say Nathan Oakley came onto your stream, right? Just and was like, oh, I just want to have like a regular discussion, and then he started saying, like all this bullshit about the moon landings were fake and that, you'd push back, right? Like you wouldn't just let him get away with it, even if you were friendly with him. Someone being friendly with Nathan Oakley, like
friendly with Nathan. God, fucking hell. Ooh.
Like,
I feel sick,
even flat earthers don't want to be friendly with Nathan Oakley. Did you hear about what happened?
Oh, yeah. You mean the book?
Yeah.
Yeah, I covered it the other day. It's fucking hilarious. I just imagined that phone call.
Yeah, like...
because Nathan actually phoned the police to report that a book that he was writing that he didn't write, someone else wrote, was stolen from him when he never had it in the first place.
I can't remember.
Can you imagine? It'd be like, "Hello, officer. Yeah. I need to report a theft. Yeah. Someone's stolen from me. Oh, it was a book. A book was stolen from me. When was it stolen? Well, they just haven't. They haven't given it to me. I'd never actually had it. Well, yeah. It was stolen. Yeah, but I never had it. Yeah. No. Well, it's a book. Well, no, not an actual book. It's a book I was writing. Well, I wasn't writing it. Someone else was, and I was supervising it, but my name was going to be on it, and now they won't give it to me. Why are you laughing? Hello?
Yeah, like
that's how I imagined it went.
Maybe I forgot about it, but like I watched the Ranty video on it, covering it, and it's just like if you're going to write a book, you have to at least, like, if you're having people helping you, right, write the book, then you have to at least write a bit of it yourself. Like, even apparently he's getting his wife to write down,
transcribe it. Yes.
Yeah, and it's like,
so he recorded the sessions of Quantum Erasure and Adam Meakin actually writing the book. He was supposed to be involved in it, but he says he was supervising. Well, what he was actually doing was playing Fortnite Battle Royale whilst getting exactly 0 victory royales, whilst Quantum Erasure and Adam Meakin did the putting together a high school PDF type thing and calling it a book.
Yeah.
But apparently, because Nathan was there recording it, it's his book.
Yeah, and to me, it's just it's one of those things where it's like, okay, like, sure, there are a lot of people that will put their names on. Like, we generally call those people CEOs, but like, in this case, you had people volunteering to help you, and without them, you would have no work being done on the book. Yeah. Like, I feel like there's just no integrity with Nathan Oakley, and like, I mean, we didn't need him to try writing a book to point that out, but like, it's just further confirmation.
No integrity, no intelligence, no basic hygiene, no dental work. Yeah, there's a lot of nuns.
Yeah, like I see so much stuff on the flat Earth community where it's just like, they betray each other, especially over financial stuff. They'll be shitty to each other over that. And whereas when it comes to the globe side, like if we have agreements in place about, I'll pay you for this, we generally, like, I don't think I've seen someone say, oh, hey, I'm not going to pay you for that. There's probably a few instances, right? Like, it always.
I mean, there is a few instances of flat earthers not paying people money they owe, like, all the bets they lose and never pay up.
But I'm meaning, like, between globe earthers, like, there'll be a few instances where maybe a globe earther doesn't pay another globe earther, but that's because there are so many more people who think that the Earth is a globe than flat. Yeah. I've seen globe earthers tend to be more honest with each other compared to flat earthers, which, Yeah,
it's not hard to be more honest than the flat earther.
Yeah.
Just, like, how do you know when a flat earther is telling a lie? Well, their lips are moving.
Yeah.
Have you heard about Dave Weiss's breakdown as well?
I
Good old Flat Earth Dave went onto Vika's channel and screamed at them for an hour because they think that he's a shill, and brought people like Will Duffy and this Dr. Shiva into the Flat Earth community, and he's got contracts with them and stuff. None of it's true, of course. Dave Weiss hates everybody and won't do anything because he's a coward and an idiot. But he went on there and absolutely had a massive breakdown, like a complete and utter total mental breakdown on stream, screaming, shouting, swearing, threatening. Also, it was fucking hilarious. And all the other flirts were just like, yeah, but what about this video that shows that you knew him? You knew Will Duffy years ago. And it's beautiful. If you haven't watched it, then go Flat Earth Dave interviews too. He's put it on his own channel. Even though it does not show him in a good light.
Okay. By the way, your camera is frozen, just so you know.
My camera is frozen?
Yeah.
How long has it been frozen?
I think about a minute or two. Like Mr. 42 says that you're imitating a statue, and yeah, you're still imitating a statue.
It seems fine on my side. Let me close the camera.
But yeah, like, cause like I've thought about it, and like, oh, now it's just not loading. I've thought about it, and like, it does seem like Dave Weiss might. Oh, failed to start camera. It says. Yeah, I don't know why why Discord is giving you issues. We broke FTFE. I have a tendency to do that, don't I? I don't even know if FTFE can hear me. Oh. Yeah, I think we've lost FTFE, unfortunately. Oh no, I broke him. Anyway, time to move on to the next clone, I think. That is the problem when you clone someone too many times, right? Like, let's see if TFE sent me. Yeah, I'm gonna just say I cannot hear you either. Anyway, we'll see what see if FTFE can get back to us. FTFE said end the call. Join call. Let's pop that out. It's not a real stream without technical issues. Yeah. And in this case, it's FTFE technical issues, not my technical issues. Haha! I won this time. Maybe he'll have to restart his PC or something. I do not know. Something broke on his end. We'll see what it is. But yeah, where were we? Let me have a drink. Is everyone staying hydrated? I hope everyone's staying hydrated. Like FTFE keeps trying to join, but like my advice is restart the PC. I'll say maybe try restarting your PC. Oh, what's this? Join video call. Damn. I don't know. Apparently, he has tried restarting, and he keeps on joining, and just nothing. Yeah, I don't know what's going on here. Yeah, I have a tendency to just break Craig. Oh, did I launch one of the planet nukes at Craig? Want me to try planar? If you want to. You know what's annoying? By the way, just like as a little thing, I find it really annoying how like if I mouse over, like it says light rain in the morning, and if I just mouse over that, like it will say, oh, that's a thing that's happening. And like it brings up everything. I'm like, no, I don't want that. I don't want, like, I won't recognize any of the inputs. What's going on, girl? Okay, so it's like something's broken with his PC. Yeah, like something's failed, which, you know, I think he should probably fix. I'm just gonna say that, like, I think that if he, I think he has a stream later. I think that if he doesn't manage to fix that before, just on Discord, Mr. 42. Yeah, I think that if he doesn't manage to fix that before his stream, then, you know, gonna be issues. Anyway, let me just, like, whilst we're doing that, I want to check. Oh, we have an FTFE back.
I just had to turn off my entire PC and back on like 3 times for it to even recognize my mic and stuff. I don't know what the fuck happened then.
Yeah, like, I'm glad you finally got a new clone sorted.
Yes, that's exactly what I needed. Still got some goo behind my ear. Hold on. Sticky stuff.
Yeah, it seems to be that I have a tendency to break you a lot.
Yeah, I don't know why. Yeah.
Whether it be your brain, your internet, which I believe is the same thing.
Yeah. I really can't stay that long. I need to. I haven't had a second to myself today, and I've not been in a good place. I need to decompress before I stream later for a bit. So I can hang around for like another 10 minutes, dude. But I'm gonna have to drop off quite soon. Okay.
Okay, that's fine. How's your working out going, by the way? Because I don't know how many people know this, but I've been trying to work out recently too. Like sometimes I get really good with it, and have. Like, it tends to be if any part of my body hurts, it's going to be, like, my arms. Like, when I work on, like... I think it's especially when I work on triceps. Doing, like, tricep extensions and... I'm trying to remember the other thing that I do.
Triceps are my favorite thing to work. It's actually much more important to work your triceps than your biceps. Your triceps are what make your arms look big. Now, from that side, you can mainly see my biceps, right? If I turn around, this is my favorite view. And my arms look so chunky from that side because the triceps are what give it all that size.
Okay.
This is all just absolutely solid. There's like, it's just this skin on it and nothing else. And it's so, I love it. And like, I've been... my wife and I started a new split the other day, and we've just been like very basic old school exercises, and we did bench tricep overheads where you hold a dumbbell where you hold one side of it like that, so you're holding the top of the dumbbell, and you lean right back and you do the overhead extensions over the edge of the bench, And oh my god, like these bits, fucking, they burn so much. It's yeah, but in a good way. You know, you wake up the next day and you're like, yay, it worked.
Yeah, I remember like I used to like if I would do something simple like 10 squats, right? I remember that used to burn a lot. Like the next day, I'd have trouble walking. And now I can do like 40 squats. I think I even like can often do like 15 squats like in a set now, which
nice.
is really cool. But I can now like do squats without it completely just like demolishing my muscles, completely destroying my ability to work.
That's how it goes. Like, pardon me. When I first started working out properly a few years ago, and excuse me, sorry. I was doing the push-ups, and you know it would fucking hurt, and I would struggle. You know, I could do 5, and like, oh my god, that was so painful. But now I can like, you know, bash out 1,000, and like, you know, I'm not dead at the end of it. You know, it just takes a few hours of hard work, but it's really nice to feel that progress and like think where you've come from and how it started, and you know how far you've come. God, I remember the first time I tried a bench press and I fucking embarrassed myself. Right, I was a bit intimidated by it. You know, it's big boy equipment, and I'd watch everyone on it. And I was like, you know what, I'm gonna try it. And I had no idea how much weight I'd be able to do. So I whacked 20 on each side, you know, big plate on each side. And I thought, all right, this is probably good. I could probably deal with this. No worries. You know, I see people doing a lot more. Picks it up off the thing. Help! But now, you know, I can do like 80 kilograms for reps, you know? Yeah. And it's really, really nice to feel that improvement.
Yeah, like one of the things that I need to do is like my current aim for push-ups is to be able to do like I think 8, which you know may seem like a small amount, but it is what I used to be able to do. I used to be able to do 8, and I've been on this like as everyone very very much knows, I've been on this little drug here, which kind of makes it a little bit more difficult to gain muscle or even retain the muscle that you have. A little drug called estrogen. And so
the hardest thing about gaining muscle is eating the right things to do it, because I was a big fatty. I was a big old fatty as well, and you know, I needed to gain muscle, but I also needed to lose a massive amount of weight. And those two things are very hard to do at the same time, because to put on muscle, you need to eat, but it needs to be, you know, the right things, which is my diet literally now just consists of protein, you know, because it's very filling. I can eat, you know, a small amount of it, feel full, but also meet all the nutrient needs for my muscles. You know, because the muscles is what the protein is what repairs your muscles. You need those amino acids in the pure protein. Like whey is the best, you know. And you tear your muscle every time you work, and those little protein fibers come along and stitch that muscle back together, and then it does it over and over and over, and that's how it gets bigger. And if you don't have the protein, you don't grow the muscles. You just, you know, tear yourself a bit. But you want to lose weight, so it's very much changed the way I think about eating as well.
Yeah, and like for me, I think the protein is like the hardest part for me, because like I quite often just eat whatever I have available. Quite often, you know, sometimes and sometimes I don't have the right stuff available for protein. So
what you need to do is you need to buy protein powder. Make sure it's whey. Just buy a big fucking tub, like it's 50 quid here, so probably about like $60, $70 for you. And it's a massive tub of protein. But this will replace more than a third of your meals for 2 weeks, right? What I eat, here's what I eat in the day. I get up and I'll have 2 black coffees with like 1/8 of a teaspoon of sugar, and then I'll have a protein shake. I will go to the gym. I'll have a pre-workout, and then after the gym, I'll have a protein shake. And then if I'm hungry and snacky, I'll have a cup of tea and a protein bar. because there's extra protein and not that many calories. And it also hits my sweet tooth. And then I'll have my main meal, which would be something quite big, like steak, egg, and chips, or a massive chicken Caesar salad, or some chicken tenders and chips and roast veggies and stuff. You know, I'll try and stuff as much good stuff as I can into that one meal that makes me absolutely stuffed. And then maybe a little bit later, I'll have another protein bar and a cup of tea. And if I'm really hungry, I'll have another protein shake. And you start thinking, oh, protein, but these things hit all the spots. They fill you up because it's protein. They hit the sweet. It's most of what you want in that sweet, right? You want that sweet craving. You have a protein shake, a yum protein shake, or a strawberry protein shake, and it hits that sweet need. And the protein releases sugars into your body, which gets rid of that hunger craving. It's discovering how to replace a lot of my food with protein has just been illuminating for me, and it allows me to stay feeling full whilst not actually eating that much.
Like I don't quite have the money, like, because you know, to do what it sounds like you're saying.
Here's the thing: it's cheaper than normal food, right?
You
think you're going to how much you're going to spend on food for 2 weeks? You know, just to say it's your lunches and your breakfast for 2 weeks. Would you spend $60 on that?
I don't actually spend $60 on food. I actually spend
for 2 weeks.
Yeah, like I actually went out yesterday and the day before and spent. I'm trying to think of how much I actually spent. I think I spent like $80, and that's like the only reason why I spent $80 is because I was treating myself. You know, about nearly my birthday. You know, you're allowed to treat yourself a little bit. And
so that $80, how many days shopping is that for food?
That is going to last me at least a week.
Right.
And like
$80 for a week of food, okay? So
that's
not
what
breakfast, lunch, and dinner,
that's not usually what I spend on food. I usually spend a lot less on food. A lot of
so for a week, what would you normally spend? Like $50?
Less than that. Like I generally I've managed to sort of work out a thing where I can spend like $20-ish a week on food.
See,
not the best food, mind you.
If you're getting the right nutrients, then that's absolutely fine. But someone in your situation, Planner, who's going through massive chemical changes and working out, your diet's going to be one of the most important things.
Yeah, and I've been
and scrimping honestly, and you know, I know that you want to save money, and you know, you're not the richest person in the world and everything, but denying yourself the right nutrients will fuck you up later down the line.
Yeah, and that's
right? Your muscles won't grow correctly.
Yeah,
and that is going to be a problem.
Yeah, that is something that I am trying to fix. But I'm limited in what exactly I can do to fix it. Is the thing. We've got an app here, right? There's an app here that is absolutely brilliant, and it's called something I can't remember what it's like. No waste delivery or something, right? Basically, you go on it, and it shows you all the shops in your local area that are about to throw out a bunch of food because it's the end of the day, or you can go and pick up a bag of the food for like £3. You don't always know what you're going to get. You might get a bag of 25 donuts, but you might also get, you know, a week's worth of bacon. Just doing that kind of thing and filling your fridge and your freezer with stuff that you can, you know, easily get is the way to do it. I had to really start changing and thinking about the way that I shop in general, and the fact that I have that protein powder takes a massive amount off. Yeah, for me, when it comes to the food, like I know a few places around that have like. I know a few churches that do things where it's like, oh, we'll give you some free food if you're in need, and like I feel a little bit guilty sometimes when going to those places because, you know, there's always people that are more in need than I am, but like it's one of those things where I'll go to those places, get a bit of food, and just try to work out, okay, how do I cut down on my expenses, especially like if I'm not making it a lot, because like. Yeah, I don't always, I don't always bring in the most amount of income.
And there's ways to eke out your food though, and
Yeah.
honestly, having something like protein powder is a great way to spend less money on food. Yeah, it's a $50 outlay to get that tub, but that tub, it can last you a month, and it can replace a meal a day. And it gives you everything you need. Get some semi-skimmed milk, 400 mils of semi-skimmed milk, a big scoop of protein powder. Boom, that's an entire fucking meal.
One of the good things I did get, this was at one of the churches, is I actually got this. People on stream will, people watching the stream will see it, and it's just like cream, and it's like, I could probably do something with it. How much it's okay, that doesn't seem like much protein, 2.3 grams per 100 mils, but just stuff like that.
No, that's not a great amount of protein. You'll also find nowadays that, in fact, it's kind of become a bit of a craze that so many foods have added protein. You can get water with added protein. Mr. Beast has just released a protein fortified milk that has like 100 grams of protein in a bottle.
Oh, wow.
There's ways of being very clever with your money and getting all the protein that you need.
Yeah.
And the protein is what has your amino acids and everything like that. You have to really be careful with the quality of protein, though. That's one thing, because if you get bad quality protein and just stuff yourself full of that, it can cause issues with your kidneys and liver and everything. You want to make sure if you're getting protein powder, you get whey or whey isolated is the best, because it's the purest, and it has all the 10 amino acids that your body requires to do the things that it needs to do.
One of the interesting things that I've heard is apparently when it comes to protein, there's this is like somewhat unrelated, but when it comes to protein, apparently the way our body recognizes protein is with like molecules that tend to exist alongside protein. So like
yeah, because like there's connectors that the protein will have certain chemicals on it that will be attracted to the place it needs to be in your body.
But what I'm meaning is like when you eat sugar, it's very much a sweet taste, right? And that's how our body goes, oh yeah, we're getting sugar. But when we eat protein, apparently the way our body recognizes it is not so, or at least our brains recognize it more than our body. But our brains recognize it through like other things like MSG, for example, and that kind of yeah, and that's
MSG is just like magic cooking powder.
Yeah,
no, this tastes a bit shit. What should I do? MSG. Wow, that's amazing.
Maybe I need to like just have a thing of MSG. Like maybe not at the moment.
Dude,
but
honestly. Like you're making yourself a bolognese, just chuck in a couple of teaspoons of MSG, and it enhances the flavor so much. It makes the meat taste meatier, the tomatoes taste tomatoier. Oh, it's so good.
Yeah. Also,
anyway, I'm gonna have to jump off. I need to go and just chill for a little bit because I've had an incredibly tough day. Happy birthday! Sorry I can't stay for longer. It's just life is tough right now, so yeah. I need to go and just.
I get that. Have a good rest. We all need that from time to time, I think.
Yeah. Well, happy birthday, my friend, and hello, everyone. Make sure you support your friendly neighborhood planner walk. Otherwise, I'm going to send Daniel Pratt to your house. See you later, mate. Have fun.
Yeah. Take care. Yeah, that always happens, the Daniel Pratt threats. Anyway, let's switch back to this. I'm just going to check something. Okay. Okay, that's not too bad. Anyway, let me put this over here so I can like see two things at once. That's a great thing. Like I also need more monitors. There's a lot of stuff I need. But yeah, like I am trying to like work out how do I get a bit more protein. Like the current sort of idea I have is just to eat more. Like, it's not the best plan, but like it's a plan. I have an Argon Gallium Pro Carbon bike. It matters a lot when your bike is third the weight of the opposition. Yeah. It also, I suppose it would also depend what you're going for. I wish I could afford to eat more. Yeah, honestly, same. If I could eat more, I would. Telling you protein pasta is super cheap and easy to make. Okay. Yeah, like I would eat more if I could. Absolutely. Been trying to eat more as well. I got myself like a treat recently. Nachos, essentially. I don't know how much protein that has, and I don't have the cans of like beans. I also don't use mince in nachos, just because mince is expensive. I very much do try and work out, like, a lot of my considerations on what I get is based on cost. Even if cheese is not the most cost, I just like cheese. Like, I'll get like a block of cheese like once a month or something, and have stuff to put it with. But yeah. Like if I cut out, like, honestly, if I cut out cheese out of my diet, things wouldn't taste as good. So I'd be like less inclined to eat more, which is annoying because like I add cheese so that I can like. So that my body is, not my body, but my, like, you know, so that I can be like, okay, yeah, I'm wanting to eat this now. Rather than me going, I don't really feel like eating, like, that without something to make it taste, you know. You can always shred cheese and eat it at 3 a.m. while standing in the fridge door. Yeah. I just shredded it and put it on everything. With the nachos, that actually got rid of my, like, the reason why part of the reason why I spent $80 on food over the past 2 days, like a few treats, stuff for like when I have people come over, but yeah, also cheese was like $12 of that. Very annoying how much like cheese costs. Oh yeah, I also have some. I need to get some bread for like other things, but we'll deal with that. I'll do that next week. I'll get some bread and stuff, and yeah. But yeah, like some of the, like, I haven't even gotten like one of the things I add for flavor, because like I wonder how close NZ nachos are like American nachos. That depends on where you get them. I think they would be similar. The way that I have nachos, right, is I'll have like a can of chili beans, maybe actually generally 2 cans of chili beans. Now, if I have money for mince or mince replacement, then I'll use that. I don't always have the money for that. Like you, and like generally the only reason why I'm going to put mince into something is because like someone is like, "Where's the meat?" I'm like, I don't have the money for it. You buy it. But obviously that's only if I'm making food for others, which doesn't always happen. Yeah, mince. I'll put some mince in, fry that up. Put some beans in, a lot of beans. Like, most of it is just your mince is ground beef. Yeah, generally. Sometimes there's also other types of mince. There's, like, ground pork is the nice type of mince, probably. I haven't had it much because, I do like my pork. Anyway, I add beans, more beans. Like, generally it's onion as well. Onion and garlic. That's actually generally the first thing that I add in. It's like the onions. You fry that. And then quite often when I get the mints, it'll be like frozen, maybe. Actually, that's how I used to do it, but like I haven't gotten mints. Like if I get mints, usually it is to put. Usually it is to put in something I am about to cook. Yeah, put the mints in, put like other stuff in, and just fry that up, and it turns out nice. But yeah, generally when I put mints in something, it is I get it on the day that I make it. I generally don't get it before then, because it's because I don't always have time. Or generally, if I'm going to cook someone nachos, we've agreed that it will be I generally make sure, hey, we're cooking nachos on this day. Sometimes it doesn't happen, and so that has happened in the past where I'm like, oh, I want to cook you nachos, and then I don't get to cook that person nachos. Oh, Avatar, what's that? I forget the name. Avatar Stormcrow for 100 USD says cheese budget intensifies. Thank you very much. I will. I actually might, when the money comes through, I might. I'll put some of that towards cheese, definitely. But I might also see if I can because I actually don't know where to get protein powder. I am going to check. I am going to check in a month, because I have to get a repeat. Actually, it'll be more in 20 days. I need to get a repeat from Chemist Warehouse, and surely, the place that surely Chemist Warehouse will have. Funnily enough, I actually go to Chemist Warehouse because there's no. So, a bit of New Zealand politics for you. The last government decided we're going to get rid of the $5 prescription. $5 prescription fee. And Isa W says, and is this on top of restaurant style tortilla chips? Not, I generally just put Doritos in, but if you do get them at a restaurant, yeah, they'll give you, and they'll put last time I got nachos at a restaurant, they put. I was glad that last time I got nachos at a restaurant, I am glad that they gave me some nachos with my sour cream. It's way too much sour cream. I don't think that agreed with me. Anyway. So, last government got rid of a thing called the $5 prescription fee. So when you go to get a prescription, it'll cost you $5. For each prescription, by the way. So, if I go ahead and get... So, for example, this here, which is my Cypro. That would cost $5 to get that. But that would also cost another $5 for my progesterone. Would cost another $5 for I don't have any estrogen packs in here, but another $5 for estrogen, another $5 for quetiapine, all that, costs money, and also when I was back on 5 milligrams of estrogen, it would be $5 for the $2 milligram tablets, and another $5 for the 1 milligram tablets. But now that I'm on 6 milligrams, it's $5 for all of them. Anyway, that adds up. So the government decided to, the current government that we've got decided, hey, you know what'd be great? Not everybody, people can afford the $5 thing, so we're going to get rid of it. And it's like, there were people that couldn't. People, someone might benefit from this who, and like, I saw this thing recently, where, like, conservatives are like, someone who doesn't need this might benefit from it, so we need to get rid of it. Whereas a lot of people on the left are more, someone who needs this will benefit from it, so let's do it. I think that it's very much, I think that's very much like that. But anyway, I go to Chemist Warehouse because they actually don't have the $5 prescription fee, which I love about them. And I go there because I heard an ad, and I'm like, the one time New Zealand's advertising rules about because in New Zealand you are allowed to advertise like medication stuff, and it's like New Zealand's advertising rules do need to be reworked, but like I am glad about them this one time. I think in the US is the only other place that allows like advertising of like medication and stuff like that. I'm not entirely sure about New Zealand's rules, but I have heard that there's something like that. Anyway, what are people saying? They import their estrogen. I have thought about it, but like, I don't really want to. Like, I do stuff for free at the moment. I don't want to have to like pay $200 to like stab myself. Easter W says my estradiol is like 35 and prog is like 35, and also for 90 days supplies it's the cheapest way to get it in my state. Yeah. Universal healthcare here. Like that is like, it is insane to me that the US has such an aversion to like anything that they perceive as being socialist, and part of it is due to corporations being like, well, we can charge people for this, don't stop us from doing that. But like, they have such an aversion to anything that they perceive as socialist that it's like, something that would be objectively good for the citizens is just like not is just like not funded. And meanwhile, my antidepressants are like $20 each plus $100 per month for doctor visits, and I can't even think of affording another other meds I probably need. Yeah, like here in New Zealand, I can literally just go to a doctor and say, hey, I need antidepressants. I can do that. That is something I can do. How much is it going to cost me? Doctor's visit. Now, to be fair, $60 for a doctor's visit, not ideal. That is one thing that I would. It costs more for the doctor's visits than the $5 prescription. But having to spend like another $20 on top of a doctor's visit, not ideal. Anyway, I can do that, and it's not going to cost me all that much compared to the US. And like, keep in mind that when I say like $20 or $60, I'm talking about New Zealand money. Now I know that there are things that you can do at the hospital. Like the hospital, I think is largely free. Yeah, like $60 for a doctor's visit. But yeah, like the hospital is largely free, but like you can't just do everything at the hospital. You do sometimes need to just go to the doctors. But yeah, Issa W says, oh, my state dropped trans healthcare stuff. I do have the socialized healthcare, but it doesn't cover trans things. Yeah. Yeah, and like a lot of people, I really hate this dismissive attitude that a lot of anti-trans people have, like transphobes and stuff. They have this dismissive attitude of, oh, well, it's cosmetic or whatever, we shouldn't fund that. And it's like, I am okay. Like, if like, I would say that gender dysphoria is a mental health condition, right? It is a mental health condition that does make certain aspects of life more difficult if not treated. I view it the same way I view it the same way as I view things like ADHD, right? If you do not treat ADHD, it can make life more difficult. Sure, ADHD does have the benefit of sometimes making certain things easier, but like there are a lot of downsides to having ADHD as well. I think that it is I therefore think that stuff like ADHD meds should be subsidized. I think that if you're going to say, the only reason why trans stuff isn't subsidized is because people are like, oh, well, this is, it's, people will be like, yeah, but trans stuff, that, they think it's optional, right? My friend with ADHD would struggle to even survive without medication. Yeah, I don't have medication. I probably have ADHD. Okay, I do like one thing that this current government is doing. I do like that when it comes to ADHD, they are changing some of the rules about it. Like about getting like medication, because it's like so expensive to just go to like a private thing to get an ADHD diagnosis. They're going to try and make that easier. I love that. I am fully in favor of that, and when February rolls around, the rules are changed. I am going straight to my doctor and being like, what do I do? Because like it is very difficult to like have ADHD and like not be able to get things done, because it's like you need to survive, right? I struggle with like getting things done sometimes. I'll get distracted by something. I could survive if I didn't have to worry about other people. That's like the issue that I currently have, is having to worry about other people. Like, I could easily survive if I could just record videos long into the night. You'd see much longer videos too, and that's how I used to do things to an extent. I used to be like, okay, we're gonna record, start recording at like 6, finish at like 3 a.m. That's how I used to do things. Can't really do that now. So I might, because like I just hear so much noise during the day. It's like, okay, if I can't work during the day, I have to work during the night. I have, just gotten my insurance alone before I've gotten any meds or medical care is over $700 a month. Yeah, and like, here's the thing, okay? I think that when it comes to US healthcare, I think that the fact that you have insurance companies to deal with healthcare stuff is making healthcare more expensive across the board, right? Because think about it, right? What is the job of the health insurance companies? It isn't to try and make you be able to afford healthcare. No. That would be like, they've got to make their whole thing is to make a profit by denying you healthcare if they can. They'll like demand, oh, you got to go do this. You got to do this before we can give you like the stuff, right? And by the way, I'm not just talking about like I'm not just talking about when it comes to like you pay obviously for like health insurance. I'm talking about like even like when it comes to the government stuff. when it comes to the government stuff, I think that's increasing healthcare costs. And the reason is, like when it comes to Medicare, I think when it comes to like the government paying for healthcare, the government in the US pays more for healthcare per capita than any other country because of the insurance companies. And let me explain why. So the insurance company's job is to deny you healthcare. The job of the hospital is to try and get you the healthcare that you need, because they need you to live. That the whole profit thing of the hospital is if you live, then you can pay. If you die, then I think your relatives have to pay. But anyway, when it comes to the insurance companies, they will often try to deny just basic stuff. The hospitals are like, well, this person has to pay. We want this person to pay for it, but they can't afford it. Hey, insurance companies, can you please do this? The insurance companies will be no, and the hospital will be like, pretty please. Insurance companies will be no. Hospitals will be like, please, you need to do this. And then eventually the insurance companies will go, okay, fine, I guess. Right? That takes time. That takes resources. How many doctors do you need to do that? Shouldn't be the doctors. Administrative will be doing that. So you've got administrative staff whose sole job will be to convince insurance that a person needs healthcare and that that the insurance needs to be paying for that. Of course, the healthcare is more expensive, like even if it's subsidized, because you have people whose sole job it is to deal with insurance companies. It's much easier to get an admin to focus on that rather than having the doctors, because you've got a limited amount of doctors to be able to do that. So the doctors, should be focusing on their job of being doctors. You've got people whose job it is to is to try and make sure, yes, you can get healthcare without. They've turned not going bankrupt. They've turned stopping people from going bankrupt into a job. It's so stupid. And we should stop. And the only reason why that is a job is because people have to pay other people that should be providing them with insurance. It's so stupid. And ahoy hoy, Nadia Yvette. Is it Nadia? Is it Yvette? I'm just gonna say Yvette because it's Yvette. Maybe, I don't know. I'm Nadia Yvette Chambers, who said happy birthday earlier. Yvette. Okay. I'm terrible when Y's are before something because I always see Y as year. But yeah. Germany seems to be avoiding it by hyper-regulating the insurance companies to the point they're bordering on government agencies. Yeah. I am becoming less and less. I'm becoming more and more distrustful of the private sector. I am. Because look, I've had to deal with roadworks for 2 years now. 2 years I have had to deal with roadworks. And it's why? Why can't they just get the job done? In China. Now, I don't like China. I've made that very clear. But in China, they can get stuff done easily. How much rail did they lay down? In the past year, in a year, or in 2 years, right? So much rail. Yet here, we can't seem to do pipe stuff within 2 years, or I don't even know what they're doing. I thought it was pipe stuff. I know a while ago it was pipe stuff, but like they're still going on and on and on with stuff, and it's like, okay, what are they even doing? Like, I am convinced that the private sector, what they will do is they will just take ages to get something done because they get paid more. If there is crucial infrastructure, they'll take their sweet ass time with it because the government will pay them for their work because the job needs to be done, and that inflates costs. That means that barely anything gets done. People get more pissed off at the government because they think that, even though it's a private company that's doing the actual work, people get pissed off at the government because it seems like the government's fault, because it is the job of the government to hire private companies to do the work that needs to be done, like, roads, pipes, infrastructure, all that stuff. I think that what needs to happen is I think some nationalization needs to happen on some of these some of these companies. I think that maybe the government should start a infrastructure. I think that maybe the government should start an infrastructure, a public infrastructure company, or infrastructure firm, whatever you want to call it, that is like completely and solely owned by the government, and the whole point of that is to just get shit done, and the government just not having to rely on private contractors. Sure, sometimes there may be ways, sure, maybe there'll be other ways to do it, like, you get a bonus if you get it done on time, and then, but like, if they can get more money by not getting it done on time, then they'll do that. But yeah, I think that I think that there just needs to be a government thing that does infrastructure work. Like, I do not trust private companies to do infrastructure work. Not because they're doing a bad job of it per se, but because they're not doing it fast enough. And like, sure, maybe them taking a little bit longer to do stuff does mean that you get higher quality infrastructure. Cool. But like, sometimes it does feel like they could do it a little bit faster whilst maintaining the same quality. 2 years I have had to deal with road work. Like, sometimes it does die down, but like for 2 years now I've had to deal with I've just constantly had to deal with roadworks. And it's like people get annoyed when they want to come see me as well, because it's like, can't park just outside my house because there's like road cones there, so annoying. Bjorn says, living in one of the most socialist countries in the world, it's terrible. Walking the street, never hearing gunfire, not going bankrupt from hospital bills, $18 minimum wage. Terrible, I say. Terrible. LOL. Yeah, I think that, like... I mean literal roadworks. I mean, it's not... I don't hear any today, which is good, but, like, having to just deal with, like, jackhammers, going on, or, like, sometimes you've even heard it. I'm sure that, like, there's been times when I've said, is this coming through on stream? And one of them was, to be fair, no, I just mean, like, literal, like, people doing, like, construction work outside, but on the road, for pipes, for probably cables, I assume, is probably part of it. But yeah, it's like, why hasn't this been done? Why has it been, like, sure, there's been, as I said, like, there's been a few months where it's died down, but then it's like, why am I hearing it again? I thought it was done. Oh no, it's not done? What's taking so long? There are a lot of cases where the responsibility in the USA is to an insolvent party. I'm going to have to look at... what's insolvent mean? Because insolvent, like... unable to pay debts owed. Oh, bankrupt. Because I thought that it was... I thought that was what it meant. But, like, I'm not... Oh, I think I get what I mean. What you mean now. Like, a company can't... The responsibility is on a company that does not have money to do the job. Right? Am I getting that? Am I... If socialism is that good, communism must be paradise. I take a middle of the road approach, kind of. I think capitalism has severe problems as it is currently standing. But like, I don't think that communism, like, I don't think that really might be the answer. Like, maybe if we had some kind of, maybe if we automated everything, then sure, like, we could do a communism. But I think that some form of socialism is best. And technically, communism is socialism because, socialism is like a umbrella term for like communism and other forms of socialism, like for example, market socialism is a form of socialism. And I'm more lean towards like a strong public sector to do work. Like, I think that the job of housing, healthcare, any basic need, right, should be the job of the public sector. Luxuries can be the job of the private sector. For example, something like for example, like the job of the private sector could be to like make video games, because it's not something that people need. Movies, entertainment, stuff like that. Should all be the private sector, whereas anything that people need should be in, and like there is a blurry line. Like I think that when it comes to something like groceries or food, yes, food is something people need. So I think that some of it should be put on the public sector, but some of it can also be the private sector when it comes to like the like, you don't need caviar, right? Nobody needs caviar. So something like caviar should be on the responsibility of the private sector rather than the public sector. And also like strong regulations on private sector stuff. Just stop the private sector from destroying the world, essentially. Earthskater says, hello, I wish I had found your video sooner. I only found out about you because of the Super Atheist Friends Collab. Well, I'm glad you found me. And also, Earthskater says, also happy birthday. Problem is definitions. Some people will come along and say, no, that's not classified as a basic need when you think it absolutely is. Something like being able to live or authentically and gender... like we have that right now when it comes to... education needs to be socialized as well. We have that right now when people are saying, insurance companies shouldn't be forced to subsidize transitioning. When in reality, there's a reason why insurance companies do, and it's because it allows people to live fuller lives. I feel like people... oftentimes people dismiss quality of life. Like things that enhance quality of life, preventing... Because, there are so many people that will go, oh, well, ADHD is just you need to work through that. And it's yeah, but sure, some people might be able to work through that, but it's difficult. And so I think more people need to realize that quality of life, actually, a good example is with COVID, right? So many people have dealt with lingering effects from COVID, right? Long COVID things. But what was focused on? Oh, how many people did it kill? We were so focused on the death rate that we ignored the other impacts that COVID can have. And it's we need things that just improve quality of life. We shouldn't have to live a life where you got to work an 80 hours of work at a job because that's how things get done. I think we need we need to focus a little bit on quality of life. Jacob Bellringer's argument was that trans healthcare was where the largest gains in, I think that means quality of life were possible. Yeah. It's one of those things where, I think, sure, there may be some people that, trans healthcare isn't right for, but we shouldn't be restricting the whole of trans healthcare based on that. And when it comes to, for me, I am surprised at how much estrogen and stuff has, sure, has there been downsides? Yes. I talked earlier about how, I can't do as many push-ups as I used to be able to do because, I'm not strong. Quality of life adjusted years. Oh, okay. But yeah, Joe Blog says it's politics. They see their 4-year-ish term focused on that quality of life benefits for more longer term, so they don't care about. Yeah, it's... I think it's that, but also, people don't think too much about, it... I'm going to take the Turtle Moose example, right? Of having holidays, right? And holidays has been so normalized that we just don't think about it. We just think about it as, a part of life. And I think there are some people that are oh, we don't need that. Production. Produce more. And it's one of those things where we need a break sometimes. A lot of, the weekend, for example, and companies want to roll back weekends as well, if they could. But having a 5-day work week that's only 40 hours has been so normalized that people don't think about how it improves quality of life. I think that one of the reasons why people don't focus on quality of life is because quality of life isn't seen as a benefit towards society running. We think of quality of life for the rich, yeah, sure, but they don't need they don't need a 3-day weekend because they can have a weekend whenever they like. And it's just this mentality of we need to produce more. You need to work. You need to be valuable to society. And it's just can we have a break? Can we focus on actually improving people's quality of life rather than this idea of infinite growth for companies, which is leading to worsening wealth inequality around the world, meaning that the rich have more and the poor have less, which has also been resulting in people being able to just barely get by. But yeah. Do you feel it's better to have these things on the company's ends need to subsidize so they can be cheaper, or do you think they should be subsidized on the consumer end, snapper UBI thing? I think that I think that the companies, certain companies should be socialized, run by the government, and I think running them with the government could actually make them a little more efficient at times. I think that this idea, as I said earlier, I think this idea that the government is always inefficient, or I think the reason why the reason why so much of the government seems inefficient is because of the private sector. They've got to work with the private sector, and the private sector can oftentimes just do things a lot slower to try and get more money out of the government, especially if it's crucial infrastructure. You can't quite get that if it's infrastructure that the government doesn't need. So that could be an area where like government and private sector can work well together. But if it's something that the government needs, then the government is going to pay whatever the companies charge. No, it's because of corruption in the government. That to an extent, I just do think that there is if the government works with a particular company, despite that company not having a good track record, yeah, that is government corruption. But I think that certain industries could be better. It could be done better if it was like a government-controlled industry, or at least having a government-controlled firm that can do the work that the government. I just think there are certain. Again, if a place like China can do something like huge amounts of railroads in 2 years, surely they can get my streets fixed in like less than a year. Right? It's one of those things where and I do think that actually a lot of corruption in the government comes from the fact that the government is so open to working with the private sector. So the private, get a bit of money from your mates, or get a bit of lobbying from your mates to go with that company for a contract, overblow the prices, and then it's like, but if like the government had like something that it controlled to do crucial infrastructure work, I think we could cut down on that corruption. Although to be fair, with the problem with corruption does mean that that's unlikely to happen. I hope that solving the world's economic problems was how you wanted to spend your birthday. I mean, I'm always wanting to solve the world's economic problems. Unfortunately, I can't really do much about it. I wish I could. Well, I saw something earlier by Nadia. What was it? I saw your forum on Steve McRae. I sincerely apologize for unleashing him on the world back in 2014 to 2015. Yeah, like, what? I'm wondering how you unleashed him on the world. I'm not sure how you managed to do that. Hugh Jarsz said, corruption is driven by politics, i.e. wanting to get re-elected. That's contradictory to good government. And yeah, I think that there is a kernel of truth to that. And that is why I think the problem with the whole wanting to get re-elected thing is, I think it's more when you are trying to get re-elected or trying to get elected, there are so many pressures on you. Like, there's pressure to conform to, because there is so many people with money. Now, if I could change the rules, I think Australia did a good thing where it's like, there's a limit on billionaires. there's a limit on there's a limit on billionaires, and how much they can spend. That's a good start. But I would also put a limit on. I'd put because like it's not so much billionaires paying for ads or donating to politicians that we really have to worry about. I think it's the media. I think that the media and I don't know how to completely restrict it. Maybe restrictions on like reporting, or maybe guidelines of reporting from foreign-funded media when it comes to politics. Maybe some type of restriction on that, so that there is less of an agenda driven by media. Because like, maybe you don't. Because like here's an idea. Maybe if you're a billionaire, you're not allowed to donate to political parties or politics. But what about like funding media campaigns? To like, we see this with what was it, the Tenet media thing, with how Russia spent a bunch of money to fund particular shows on YouTube, like Tim Pool. Trying to think, who are the other Russian assets? I just remember Tim Pool. I think there was maybe Lauren Chen. I can't remember if Lauren Chen was one of them. Maybe Dave Rubin. I as I said, can't remember much about it. But anyway. You don't have to fund a politician. You can just fund media. You can just fund propaganda to basically say, hey, I'm funding you, and it, like that often isn't seen as a political donation, because it's like, oh well, I'm just funding a person who happens to agree with the politician that I. Dave Rubin was another one. Okay, cool. My memory isn't that bad then. But yeah, they can just be like, oh yeah, I'm funding this just this podcaster guy. Yeah, sure, that has allowed this podcaster guy to gain so many more followers and gain a bigger audience, meaning that people are more inclined to vote for the person who I want to get in. But like, that does influence politics, and that is a way that you can basically you can signal to politicians, hey, if you support my stuff, then I will in turn fund people to support you. That's often how, Roger Ailes? I have not heard of that name. And Rupert Murdoch. Oh yeah, Rupert Murdoch is well known for like being, his old News Corp thing. I just think that when it comes to things like that, we need to be careful of people want to get re-elected, but there are so many pressures on people for re-election that and like, here's the thing. I think that because someone mentioned earlier about how power leads to corruption. I think it was Joe Blogs. Where was it? Corruption is driven by power to the point. And I don't think that is true. I do not think that is true. I think that corrupt people are pulled towards power. I think that people or corrupt people find it easier to gain power. I think that is more the case, rather than, corruption, power being the driving force behind corruption. Like, you think about it. If you're willing to do anything for power, then you're more likely to just do anything for power. Whereas if you, including corruption, which makes, you're more likely to get the power that you desire, because But if you aren't, if you're willing to play by the rules, then it makes you less likely to gain power because you have to stick within. Like a thing, and you're not willing to do little dirty stuff to like advance your goals. Some backroom deals, and also with that, like the backroom deals and stuff like that, it's again that goes back to the people who you kind of have to work with the people that have power in a like. I think that people don't realize that power. There are multiple things of power. Government power is one thing, but like media control, just the money to be able to do things. That's also a form of power. So Elon Musk has like vast amounts of power because he has money. He's not an elected official, but he still has a lot of power, which is granted by the fact that he has billions of dollars. So if you are willing to work with Elon Musk, then it's easier to advance your political goals because he's willing to help you with that. And I think that a lot of people who have power are willing to do whatever it takes to hold on to that power, and and that leads to that reinforcement, where it's like, oh well, I have a lot of power, I know what to do with it, and I'm going to make sure I hold on to that power. It is one of those things which is kind of self-reinforcing because the people that are willing to let go of power are the people that, are the people that are less corrupt. If you're willing to let go of power, then eventually that power is going to shift to someone who is not willing to let go of power, meaning that the people that have the power are not willing to let go of it, right? That tends to be the case. And it's like, well, how do you fix that? It's very, very difficult to fix. But fortunately, there are some grassroots campaigns like I've been seeing in the UK, and there's this guy called Zach. You may have heard of him. No, not Zach Fair from Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. But there's this guy called Zach in the UK who seems to be getting a lot of popularity, and there seems to be a lot of people that are like, I like the message that this person is spreading. Afternoon, the people who are willing to let go of power are actually more deserving. Yeah. And I think we need a lot more democratization. We've basically we've got ourselves into the system where we've got democratically elected officials, but your boss, he's not democratically elected. Sure, there may be a small council who will elect your boss. Small council of shareholders, but they aren't electing your boss for the good of you. They're not electing your boss to try and fulfill the wishes of people in the workforce, or to try and do something good for the world. They're generally electing the boss to make themselves more money. Or is it the board of trustees? There's usually some board of people that is on a company, usually made up of shareholders, I think, who basically say, hey, this person is doing a good job because he makes us more money, and those people that make more money for those, power is a thing where a bunch of people have basically come together and said, hey, we are going to get other people that align with our own interests to uphold their own interests and we're going to make it harder for people that don't align with our own interests to gain any kind of power, meaning that power is centralized around certain types of people. People of being those who want to maintain the current power structures. And I think a lot of people confuse it with, power corrupts. And it's like, sometimes. Like, yeah, it's understandable if you get corrupted by power, but, like, there's also a lot of other things there. Like, there are some genuinely cool people out there that... there's that one CEO guy, right, who was like, I'm going to take a pay cut. I'm going to... he was like, I'm going to take a pay cut and pay my employees more so that... so that they can afford to live good lives, and that he was laughed at. But then eventually it was like, oh shit, he was onto something. You know, I believe his company has done very well, especially over the pandemic, because people were like willing to have to take pay cuts and stuff. And like if he hadn't had done what he did, then his company might have shut down during the pandemic. But yeah, I think another point is that people need to like. I feel like we've got this terrible idea of like hyper individuality, right? And like, I'm not saying that individuality is bad. Like, I think that it's good to be an individual. Like, I would rather people be able to be good individuals than, like, I'd rather people be able to be their own individual self rather than having to, conform to some kind of arbitrary standard. So, individualism, good. But hyper individuality, where it's like, not only are you an individual, but everything in your life is your responsibility. You have to deal with everything in your life. And it's like, that's just not how society works. We need help sometimes. There are times when it's like, you need help from other people around you. And it's like, if you want to pull yourself up by the bootstraps, but your hands are nailed down, you're not doing that. Sometimes it's one of those things where you need to stand up, but your legs don't work. And it's like, your legs aren't working properly, but you need to stand up. And, you can spend ages trying to work out a way which you can stand up. But, the easiest thing is to just, have someone go, hey, need a hand? And, I feel like the downside of treating individuality this way is, everyone has to pick themselves up on the ground, off the ground, is that, yeah, some people will pick themselves up off the ground. But you have a lot of people that keep on falling over. You have so many people that are on the ground just unable to do anything. And sometimes they don't even have... Sometimes there's just not anyone around that can be like, hey, need a hand. You've also got people on the ground who will be like, you're standing up, I'm going to pull you down. Some people are spiteful like that. But yeah, and there will be some people that can't give a hand, right? Sometimes there will be people who will just not have the strength to do that. They're standing up, but they can't give anyone else a hand. They may feel bad about it or whatever. But they're they've got their own issues to deal with, and sometimes it may be that that person wants to lend a hand, but they need another person to help lend 2 people picking 1 person up off the ground is a bit easier than 1 person picking 1 person up off the ground, you know? We need to... I think that people need to work together more, is what I'm trying to say. Earthskater says, I live in Korea right now, and it's much less individualistic. The social programs, public transit, medical, and even things like parks and other spaces have been amazing. Oh, that's good. I haven't heard great things about South Korea. I hear that... And sometimes I might get like some of the culture mixed up with Japan, because I know that both Japan and South Korea are facing a population distribution problem, where like an aging population problem, and I believe it's worse in South Korea if I'm correct. And from what I've heard, some of it literally just comes down to like misogyny, which, you know, is a bit of a problem. But at least like they've got like social programs and stuff. I think social programs are good, and I think that I think that if you need to raise the birth rate up, like implement social programs so that, especially giving people more free time. I feel like the problem is that people... I think that the reason why the birth rate is declining in so many places is people feel like they don't, A, have enough money to actually be able to afford kids, and B, so they don't feel like they have enough money to afford kids, and they feel like they don't have the time to really meet people or stuff like that. They don't have enough. They feel so tired from work, and because if you do like even if you do like 8 hours a day, you can just feel tired afterwards and want to go to bed, because the population can decline not because of misogyny, but because women can choose not to have kids. That is... I feel like there are a lot of people that choose not to have kids because they... I feel like we are in a sort of situation where there are higher expectations on partners. And I do think that is a lot of times a good thing, right? Higher expectations on partners does mean that there are less... there's like a higher bar you have to meet to be a partner with someone, and it does mean that certain people do need to improve themselves more, and people aren't big fans of improving themselves sometimes. But yeah, I do think that there is a thing where like a lot of people just don't find the right partner. There is like, you're not forced into marriage, and that's a good thing. I think I'm pretty also you just reminded me, another reason why is actually like the population of Japan and Korea, I believe, are declining is because they just don't let people in. Having seen how foreigners act around here, I don't blame them. Yeah, I have heard of, I think it's passport bros who will just go to a different country because they think, oh, well, it's easier to get with people in a different country. And it's like... and it's like, if you're a passport bro, literally a skill issue. Literally just a skill issue. Anyway, neither South Korea nor Japan have changed to focus on social improvement beyond traditional culture and work ethics. Secondly, they have not made ways for immigration, also trade culture stuff. Yeah, I think that there are a lot of people that... I think there's a lot of people who feel like, and this is generally guys, who feel like things were better in the past when it comes to like, because they haven't been able to get a partner, and they think, well, if I was just given a partner, then things would be better. And it's like, not necessarily. Just because you manage to, like, I've managed to get with people, and it's like I've had partners in the past, which is like, okay, I don't think that person was the right person for me, right? There's one in particular that comes to mind, and it's one of those things where just because you have a partner doesn't mean your life is going to be better. And there's a lot of people that fall into that trap because they haven't had a partner, and they think, well, even a bad partner is better than no partner. And in some instances, that may be true. But you've also got to be a good partner as well. And probably wouldn't be better for the partner. That's essentially the point that I was getting to as well. And so I think that a lot of people, whilst they may champion the idea of freedom, the big thing that they miss is like freedom that may, in some cases, mean that people are free to choose things like partners, and maybe in some cases be free to not choose you as a partner. And it's like, that is part of freedom, because if you value freedom, and it's quite ironic, these people tend to be the right wing, freedom for my guns, sort of people. But like, if you value freedom, that is an aspect of freedom that you need to value. Like, you can't just be for only free speech, but like, this person needs to get with me. You have to value freedom a lot more equally than just the freedoms that you like. You essentially have to value the freedoms of. Essentially, if you value your freedom to own guns, or your freedom for free speech, you need to value the freedom of women too. And I feel like there are so many people that just don't. Maybe not as much as like I might be making it out to be. Like, I don't want to act like, oh yeah, there's like so many people that are against freedom for one. Like, there's, I am aware that these people are probably in a small minority, but like, I think we have had a rise in these sorts of people with the rise of Andrew Tate. Debatable D says, I like the constitutional phrasing that South Africa focuses on that is different to other countries. In South Africa, you have rights and responsibilities. Every freedom is a give and take with society. I like that. I like that. We need more of that. We need, rights. Like the whole Spider-Man thing. With great power comes great responsibility. With your rights comes responsibilities too. And I think I have, had an inkling of that, idea before. Where, rights come with responsibilities. But yeah, putting that on a constitutional document, I think that is a good thing. But yeah, other countries typically focus more on the rights and freedoms language and lesser on the responsibilities language. Yeah, because I feel like when it comes to rights, there's a lot of people that focus. There's a lot of people that kind of focus on the rights, but rights take upholding. You do not have rights unless someone else is able to uphold them. Like, your right to life. Well, if no one upholds that right, then that right can be easily violated. You need someone to uphold that right. Andrew Tate has a veritable horde of compatriots. There's an entire manosphere out there beyond just him. That is true, yeah. In fact, we're kind of seeing it slowly creep up. And then all of a sudden I'm like, who the fuck's this Andrew Tate guy? What's so interesting about him? Better marketing to focus on what you can do instead of what you have to do. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, like, it's one of those things where we're saying, where it's easier to say nobody should be murdered, people should be able to live. It's like, oh yeah, but it's a lot less to some people. They'll be like, but when you say to certain people, oh, you're not allowed to murder, it's like, the fuck, I want to murder. Not all people, but like some people would be like that. But like, I think, you know, like, if you say, oh, you have a right, you have, property should not be taken away from you. Like, everything you own is yours and cannot be taken away from you. When you have that kind of thing as a right, people are like, yeah, that makes sense. I don't want other people to take away my stuff. And the poor, but if you were to say, oh, you cannot take stuff away from others, the poor person's like, what the fuck? I need to eat. You know? That kind of stuff. But like, I do think that there needs to be a focus on like responsibilities of people, like especially around paying tax. I'm starting to wonder if like the world's debt can even ever be paid off. Sure, if you stopped, I wonder how much of like the tax that people collect goes towards interest. But because the problem is that you do have to pay interest, right? That is one of the things that is going to be increasing the world debt, and if you want to pay it off, well, you need high taxes. You need to be able to essentially pay off the interest plus some each year, without resorting to getting more debt. And the problem is that everyone, like, I don't think I've heard of any country that's actually managed to reduce their debt. There may be a one or two, but yeah, like, there's so much. And, like, I don't think that debt cannot institutionally be paid off. It's a post hoc cornerstone of the function of the system we live in, yeah. And it is one of those things where it's like, so we can't just, debt is a mean of control, agreed. Yeah, I don't know how it's, yeah, I don't know how it's meant to be paid off. Like, and I just kind of wonder, like, if it's such, like, I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing. It does allow countries to be able to pay for infrastructure. That is good. I just don't, I think that there's a lot of fear-mongering about it. 3 trillion in the UK, never paying that off. Yeah. I actually thought something like, imagine you're a company or a person that owns a company, and you buy, because you can buy debt from the government. Like, people like to think, oh, China owns so much of the debt, and it's like, no, like, people own debt from the government, right? Or have paid for bonds. So essentially the government makes bonds, you buy the bonds, and then the bonds are paid off over time with interest. Australia did once, then Kevin Rudd happened. Didn't Kevin Rudd have to deal with the global financial crisis? Because like, a lot of people will, because like, here's the thing, a lot of people will say, oh, like New Zealand is an example. People will say, oh, you know, they'll talk about the borrowing from like someone did, right? Whether that be Jacinda Ardern in New Zealand is a good example. They'll say, oh, she borrowed so much. But like, the time that she borrowed so much there was a big issue called COVID. And it's like, okay, well, all the countries essentially owe each other money. No, I don't think that's the case. Because otherwise they'd just be able to pay their debt off with to other countries. No, I think what happens is actually that people in countries buy debt. Because like if it was simple as one country buys debt from another country or bonds, then if one country buys bonds from another country, then it'll be easy to pay off the debt because you just be like, we'll agree to like cancel each other's debt out or something like that. And maybe sometimes that wouldn't work because maybe one country owes another country a bit more debt, but you could still cancel out a certain amount of debt. But like, it's generally people that within a country that go, I'm going to buy bonds from you. Like investors and stuff like that who will be like, I can get a certain return on investment if I buy bonds from this country, so I'll buy bonds. That will mean that I will have a reliable source of income. No, you are right. It is not just bonds. It's multiple form of bonds, currency, investment, trade deals, etc. But it's a whole chain of debt and abstract, in an abstract sense. And Hugh Jarsz says most national debt is owed to organisations in the country itself. Yeah. Like people or companies. I should have clarified that companies can also buy debt. But yeah. They don't want to pay off the debt, they want to collect the interest. Yeah, like there are a lot of people that make money from debt. Because, why do banks allow you to take out a loan? It's because, you pay interest on it. The banks make money on you taking out a loan. You're not getting the money for free. And they're not just giving you some money so that you can hold on to it for a bit and then give it back, give the exact amount of money back. They want to make money off the money that they give you, which is the whole system of debt. And I feel like we've become too reliant on debt, and like currency itself is like it's like the system really doesn't make a whole lot of sense because it's like because it's like, is there enough currency to even own all the wealth? Yeah, exactly. So you get into this weird situation where America and UK each owe each other money, but it's within the companies that issue and manage the debt. The world is essentially running on debt. Yeah. But like personal debt, if you don't pay off your personal debt, then that's really bad for you, and they essentially will, they'll essentially send people in to take all the stuff you own away, unless you declare bankruptcy. Also, no country is going to declare bankruptcy. If a country declares bankruptcy, then that's probably bad, especially if it's the US. If the US declares bankruptcy, then we're all cooked. The thing that I also don't get is like the AI bubble. Who's benefiting from the AI bubble? Do I benefit from the AI bubble? Probably not. I do not. In fact, a lot of people don't benefit. A lot of people are hurt by the AI bubble from the fact that like they're laying off jobs and stuff. If that bubble pops, what happens? What happens if the AI bubble pops, exactly? Like, genuine question. Because it's like, if the AI, if the accumulation of wealth from the AI bubble, like, it's something like at least $4 trillion, and I have watched Hank Green's video on it. And it's basically, this company gives this money to this company, and this company gives money to this company, and all flows around in a circle. And it's like, okay, these companies are accumulating massive amounts of wealth. What happens when the bubble pops? Because if I am not being advantaged by this AI bubble, then why is it a bad thing if the bubble pops for me? And like, I understand that it will be a bad thing, but why? This will also lead to general investment pricing and market chaos, which will ripple out to impact global economies. It's like, so essentially, there's a big bubble, and that bubble is going to pop, and that's going to fuck over everyone because, like, there's a big bubble that is only benefiting a few people. It's only benefiting like a select few people. And when this bubble pops, everyone's gonna get fucked over? That doesn't sound right. Oh man, my friend got laid off because the boss replaced everyone with AI. Now he's part of a class action lawsuit because the people who were fired weren't given proper notice in time. Now he has a job that pays 2 times so free money to him. I mean, I'm glad it worked out. For him. It'll be like 2009, bailing out the multi-millionaire bankers' multi-million-dollar bonuses rather than bailing out people who oversold the mortgages. Yeah, because it seems like what often happens is there's like this big thing that happens and like I think it's probably better for the AI bubble to burst sooner rather than later. Because I've been like thinking, okay, how's OpenAI, as far as I'm aware, does not make any money. How are they going to make money? And I think the plan so far has been to try. There's one of two plans. There's the realistic plan, and then there's the these people live in fantasy world plan. The realistic plan is that they get everyone reliant on AI, integrate AI into so many people's lives, so that people cannot stop, so that people need AI. Essentially, get people reliant on AI, then people will be like, oh well, I can't live without it. And I think that's part of the plan. I think that once people are reliant on AI and basically feel like they need AI, pull the plug on the free AI. People have to pay money. If people feel like they need a product, they will pay for that product. And so what you will then have is, whatever price they set to try and make their money back. That's plan number 1. Plan number 2, and this is the fantasy world plan. And the fantasy world plan is AI getting good enough to basically make itself better and better and better and better and better. Like that idea, the idea of reaching the singularity, and whoever reaches the singularity first gets to control the world, essentially. That's the fantasy plan, I think. And I'm not sure what plan they are... I'm not sure which one they are going to go for. The joke will be on them when they pull the plug on the free AI, and rather than wanting to pay everyone is just super glad it's gone. I have a question. You know how there's like those Sora videos that have been making the rounds lately? Is Sora free? I just want to know, because like that like video compared to like text, like if you've got something like ChatGPT, its ability to produce text, I feel like would be a lot easier than producing video. You know, the joke be on them with the pull the plug on free AI and rather than wanting everyone to pay people. Did I read that before? I don't know. But yeah, I feel like a lot of people will be glad it's gone. I will be glad it's gone, you know. I'll be like, hell yeah. No AI. Cool. I think Sora runs off credits each month. Ah, right. Yeah. Because I do know that AI would be the sort of thing which they would have to have like a subscription service if you're going to be using it. But yeah, limiting it to like only a certain amount of usage. I do know that there are things that I've used which do that. Like if you want to like, there's like a file converter that I often used, right? And it did really well for like a certain type of conversion. Because there's one type of conversion when it comes to file conversion that is not set in stone. Like there are a million ways to convert it, and that is when you convert from MIDI to something like MP3 or WAV. If you convert from a MIDI file to a WAV file, there's thousands of ways you can do it. Because like you can do different instruments, you can have different sounds for each instrument, but yeah, it will. I found that there was this one that did it really well. Like drums sounded really cool. But yeah. Oh, Ryan Cooper for $5 says, "Happy birthday. Can't stay long, but hope everything is going awesome." Yeah, I think things are going well. It's bad statistics. The stuff not only doesn't work, it can't work. It's like a calculator that thinks that 1 + 1 is 3 and 2 + 2 is 5. Yeah, I mean, like, there are some things that AI is slightly better at, but, like, a lot of it is just approximation. It's like saying that... Like, I feel like when it comes to AI, a lot of people try to use it in a place where you can just do things more efficiently. Like, if you want to add 1 and 1, do you want to use an AI for that? No. You can just use a microprocessor. And occasionally the microprocessor may fail, but you can just be like, oh yeah, 1 + 1 = 10. And then we say, okay, well, 10 is actually 2 because, you know, binary. And with AI, it's like, okay, if someone says 1 + 1, what's the general thing with that? What is that most likely? And it's like to 2. And it's like, okay, but like, does it have the data to add 394 + 625? And it's like, sure, it may be able to try to work that one out, but eventually it's going to fail. I mean, humans would fail like that, but again, my computer does it well. AI will still be around. I just want it to come back down to where it is spoken about in niche applications, not the AGI direction, like LLMs for coding, for example, using local or cluster model. Yeah, I think that a big problem that we have is like this idea that AGI should be a thing. And it's like, if we're going to use it for code, right? Like, let's make models trained specifically for that thing. I feel like, because like, there's a thing that I'm working on that does use AI, right? But the AI that it uses is a very specific type of AI. It's basically designed to scan images and stuff. I'm not going to go into what it's about. I will eventually, once I get it to a working state, I'll let you know what it is. But like, AI is used as a tool in that for scanning images, right? And when you use that kind of thing, it's like really good at that particular task, which is fine, right? I want it to be good at that particular task. But if you are trying to have it be able to be a therapist, you're trying to have it be able to give like financial advice, as a lawyer, as a coder, as an expert in fields, as like a researcher, like just everything, being able to write stories for you, being able to be creative, all that. At some point, you're trying to make it be able to do more than a single human can, and you're using more resources to be able to make it do tasks that it's not in a really inefficient way. Whereas a more streamlined approach would be like, okay, this model does this. This model does this. This model does this. Like a really good example of AI use that I have seen, which I think is cool, is like protein folding, right? They have AI models designed to work out what protein folding and how that kind of stuff does, which can be used in medicine advancements and that kind of stuff, which is tricky for humans to do sometimes because you need to know how proteins fold. And there was an attempt a while back where like they put it into a game. I think it's called some kind of protein folding game, and like people worked out, oh, well, this folds in this way. Things work really good when you like turn stuff into a game. But anyway, eventually they came up with an AI that worked better than the game. That was there was a Veritasium video. And the reason why the AI did well is because it was specifically trained to do well on that. Right? I think about it like this. Like, imagine that you are making something and you're working as a team. Now, if you all are good at everything, then you actually may end up being slower than someone who's really specialized, really good at really extremely good, who's focused on something. Like, for example, if you have, general coding, pretty cool. But if you get specialized in something like shaders, for example, and you're making a game, well, then you can do shaders and you can have other people do all the other stuff, and you're just on the shaders, and other people may not know how to do shaders, or may not be as good as shaders. It would take them a while to learn how to properly think about shaders. Parallel processing is hard to conceptualize. You can do that. And other people will be like, they can work on the stuff that they are good at. That is the thing. You have to have things specialized. AI and agentic AI with reasonable cost-power ratio with a risk of hallucinations or incorrect data as low will survive. Most of the AIs at the moment do not meet that criteria. Hallucinations and stuff like that. That's why I think that that when it comes to AI, we're focusing on the wrong things. We're trying to focus on, or at least the big AI companies are trying to focus on some artificial intelligence that can just do everything. Whereas the more efficient thing is to just get like several different artificial intelligences that do different things, that specialize in different things. Most of the rubbish people are using regular computers for doesn't need them. Rolling use of computers way back to what it was in the 70s with very, very limited exceptions would solve many social ills. Maybe. I do think that, I think that there are some advantages. Like, I find that Discord, great way to test someone's computer knowledge. If they know how to use Discord, then they're pretty good with computers. But a lot of people don't know how to use Discord. Like, Discord is one of those things which so many people are like, how the fuck what the fuck's a server, and when it comes to that kind of stuff, I do think that there is a sort of bar that a lot of companies are trying to meet, where it's like, oh, well, you have a certain it's like, oh, you have a certain amount of people that you want to sell your product to, but you need to like dumb it down a bit so that anyone can use your product without needing like someone to be walked through it. And I think what we have is we've gotten to the point where so many companies are chasing that. I do not like how like people are dumbing down their products so much that it's like, okay, but how do I do what I used to be able to do? How do I make it so that, like, if I want to like have if I want to have like when I click here on the sound thing, I have to go to no, what do I do? Where's the volume mixer? How do I open the volume mixer? I don't know. Do I right click on it? Open volume mixer. And then I have to go down to like the particular apps in the volume mixer. And it's like, I just used to be able to click on it and then it came up. Like, sure, that may have been a little bit harder for some people to use, but I remember a time where I didn't need to go through, you know, and like, here's the thing. Here's something that I think, now I don't know if this is legal, is the problem, but I think Windows XP 0.7. That is a project that I would like to see come to life. And maybe it is a project that somebody is working on somewhere, but that is a project that I would like to see come to life. Essentially, a version of Windows that doesn't have all the stuff that Windows tries to force on you. No Copilot, no... Well, firstly... I was about to click on something. I shouldn't click on that thing. No React in like the start menu or the worst thing is clicking on the thing to try and work out what the date is. That crashes my PC half the time. Half the time I click on it, my like Discord will not work. Any programs I have open will stop working like that. I don't even know if I can close them. And I just have to be like, okay, I'm restarting my PC because like I cannot use my PC like this. And it's like, it didn't used to do that. It used to be that, and it's probably like due to how long I leave my PC on, but like I used to be able to just leave my PC on for like several months at a time. But yeah, like no... Here's what I do. No automatic updates. Like, this is if I could do this Windows operating system. No automatic updates. Basically, you'd have to agree to an update before continuing with it. And the updates wouldn't be like big things. Like, it would just be updates to things like Defender, like the or Firewall. No, like not really stuff that it would be updates for stuff that you don't really have to turn your PC off for, right? Just like simple stuff like that. And here's what I would do. Big thing that I'd do, right? I would make it so that when you install a new copy, there will be like a few apps that it will say, "Hey, do you want to?" Like there'll be like one app that will basically be like a, "Hey," like it will be able to have the ability to connect you to the internet just to give you the ability to install other apps like the Play Store on Google on like Android devices, right? But when it comes to something like an internet browser, and I'll have Firefox. I like Firefox. I think Firefox is probably the best one, or one of the better ones. But I'd have it so that you can choose to install it if you want. You don't have to install it. Every program that is part of the computer, you can choose to install. There'll be like recommended programs, of course. But like, you can just choose to like have one program that your computer has, and that would be it. There'd be like crucial programs like File Explorer, stuff like that would essentially be a thing that your computer has to have. But like stuff like a camera app, you can just choose not to have a camera app. Like the drivers will still be, like the drivers for anything that you need will be there, like graphics cards, camera drivers and all that kind of stuff. They'll all be there. But you can just choose not to have like a media playing app if you want. You can just choose not to have Paint installed. And I think that would be great. And yeah, I know that I'm talking about Linux, but like exe is the most used file, and I know there's Wine. Don't worry, I know all that stuff, but there is a convenience to a lot of people to just be able to like not have to deal with things like Wine. Get Windows 11 debloat. Here's a thing that I would do with this. I'd make it so that you can choose whether you want to have your computer looking like Windows 7 or Windows XP. Some people will like that sense of the UI that XP got, or like some combination between the two things. Maybe you start menu as XP or Windows 7. I did like the Windows 10 start menu. The Windows 10 start menu, great. I think that was because like the problem with the Windows 11 is it doesn't work half the time. That's like the main problem that I'll be trying to solve. Yeah, Windows 8 had an annoying start menu. Windows 10 came along and fixed the Windows 8 start menu by making it more like Windows 10, but also keeping the squares. Now the squares are a little annoying, and like they were used to advertise stuff, and that's why I'd want it to be more like Windows XP or Windows 7. That's why if I did this project, it would be like the Windows XP.7 project, because it would essentially be like that era of Windows where the Windows is just an operating system. Because the problem with modern Windows is that it tries to force everything on you. It's like, oh, do you want Office? Oh, and that's another thing I do. I'd make it so that it has like a word processor, Excel processor that you can install if you want to, that can come with the operating system. And is just a part of your computer. Like, sure, there's WordPad these days, but like if I want to open something up in Excel, that can be annoying. Now, hi, Ryan Donovan. I want a modern version of Amiga Workbench. Yeah. I don't know much about Amiga Workbench, so I can't comment much on it. But yeah, I would... But yeah, I think that it would be a good idea to have like have an operating system that natively can deal with EXEs, is better than, like, it's faster. Again, the problem with Windows is that a decent portion of it was written in React. Fucking React. Like, I want my computer, and like half the times it doesn't even work. I have had so many issues with Windows 11. There are times when I have tried to open up a program from the start menu and it does not open. Do you know how annoying that is? There's an add-on that gives 11.10 start menu. It's a third-party program. Oh, okay, that sounds cool. But it's also the calendar. Like, I used to be able to go... Like, I used to be able to easily... And, like, it's still, like, a sort of muscle thing where I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm going to check the calendar. And I go to check the calendar, and it's like, oh, congratulations, you checked it at the wrong time. Your computer is now fried until you restart it. That is why I've not been checking the calendar, because you would see the if I check the calendar, the stream would go offline, probably. It just uses so much CPU. Now, one time I was like a little confused about why my computer was using 30% CPU, and the reason why was because I downloaded an Android device to my computer. Yeah, it turns out that an emulator does things. but like things not opening when you click them from the start menu has been recurring in tons of versions of Windows for me. It's only it's only happened in Windows 11. I don't think I got that with Windows 10. I don't think I got that with XP or 7. It's only been Windows 11 for me, and it's one of those things where it's like, if something happens rare enough, then it doesn't. I can accept that. If something is rare, where it's like, oh, I can just go to the start menu and like 1 in every 10,000 times, 1 in every 10,000 times, I click something and it doesn't open, right? That's fine. Like, it's not fine, but it's a bit of, it's okay, right? Because you don't really notice, because it's like so many times it happens, but you may notice it a bit, but it's like not that noticeable. It's like, oh, most of the time it works, so it's okay. When it happens, like consistently, like 1 in every, like if it happens more often, like for me, I think it happens 1 in every 50 times, then it's noticeable. And that's like being generous. It probably happens like closer to 1 every 10 times. But I've noticed it more as of late, where I'll open something and there's been a few times recently where I've tried to open something. It's like, why isn't this opening? And then it opens like multiple instances like later. It's like, goddamn, like give me some give me a heads up that this is opening. But yeah, in fact, that happened with Visual Studio, where it wasn't opening, and then it did open, and it opened like 3 different instances of Visual Studio. But yeah, that is like an issue that I keep getting, where it doesn't open up a program, even though I've told it to. I've clicked on it from the start menu, and it should give like it should give some notification, I think. It's like, oh yeah, this program is opening up. And I notice it because it happens like more frequently than it used to. If it used to happen, I don't remember it because, and it may be some kind of recency bias, but yeah, but like it's happened enough that I've gotten, it's happened enough recently that it's like become very noticeable, and maybe I'll forget about it like with Windows 12 and be like, oh yeah, Windows 12 sucks. But yeah. I've had this a lot with Discord that almost never actually opens when I search for it in the start menu of Windows 11. Yeah, I have it automatically opening, so I don't have to worry about that. In fact, I wonder if I can. I wonder if I can add a program to like automatically open with my PC, because like a lot of programs will like decide that they need to automatically open like that. Like Discord decides that it needs to automatically open whenever I start my PC up. So does Steam. And I think what would be a good idea is to have like, this probably does exist, but like an easy way to like just search automatically opening programs and like remove or add them to your automatically opening programs. There is a program that I would add to my automatically opening programs, and as soon as the stream is done, I'm going to search how, because I actually think that would be a good idea, because so many times I don't open the program and then I have to wait 2 minutes before I can use my audio. I work at a school that has Macs in their computer lab. I've been teaching first graders how to click on a mouse that has right-click on a mouse that has no visible buttons. At least Windows has things on the screen. I hate how Apple Macs just everything's disappeared. Yeah, Macs are worse than Windows. Like Windows has been trying to sort of, I think, emulate Apple in several ways by essentially trying to be like, okay, well, Apple is simple to use and all that kind of stuff, so we're going to make Windows simple to use. And like, there is a case that Windows should be simple to use, but like, I don't think it should come at the cost of easy access to the more complex stuff, right? If I have to, I dislike how like the control panel. I think control panel still exists, but they disappeared the control panel from like things, and I like the control panel because like it's more familiar to me. That happened around Windows 10. I was like, no, I don't want settings. I want the control panel. But yeah, I think that Windows is falling into a thing where like the complete stuff is getting harder harder to like access, whilst the easy stuff that they want people to interact with is getting easier, but like oversimplified. And I actually dislike. There is one thing that I did. I actually paid for something. New video editing software not long ago. By not long ago, I mean like a year ago. And a year ago, I paid for some video editing software. It was like the newest version of the video editing software that I use. And I go to use it, and I'm like, this isn't right. Why can't I do the stuff that I used to be able to do? And like everything was easier, but like the stuff that I normally do, like compression, like and all that kind of stuff, was just gone. I was like, where is all my old stuff? Like I tried to use compression, it just did not sound right. And eventually I decided, fuck it, I'm getting Vegas. Because Vegas was pretty much the software that I was using. And so yeah, now I use I don't think it's the latest version of Sony Vegas, but I use like I think it's like Vegas 21 or something. And yeah, that works. That has all the things I liked about like the stuff that I use, plus a few extra bells and whistles that I was like, oh yeah, this is cool. Like, and then like it actually does have a good use for AI. Like, going back to the AI thing, because it does have a good use for AI, and that is basically when you basically feed the audio file into the AI, and the AI goes ahead, transcribes it into text. Literally, the only reason I often still use Premiere Pro is because the audio editing is so much better, so much easier than on other software I have. Yeah, like Vegas is so easy to edit audio, like to do like audio stuff, and like they changed it a little bit, which I wasn't too keen on, but this is supposed to be your birthday stream, but we're talking about Windows. Let's talk about you instead. What do you consider your greatest achievement? Oh, that's a good question. I think that. I just need to. I think that this YouTube channel is one of my greatest achievements. Like, there are things that I've, in terms of, and like that's easy to say because it's had a really big impact on my life. There are other things that I've done that haven't really impacted me. Like, in terms of like, if we consider a YouTube channel as like individual videos, then like those individual videos, I don't think any of them would be my greatest achievement, but like, if as a whole, I think my greatest achievement is my life, right? But yeah, like, I think that my YouTube channel is probably one of my greatest achievements, and like, I think that there's probably like some stuff that like that I'm missing that is like, because in terms of importance, there's probably some stuff that I've done that's actually really important. I'm trying to think of like things that I've done that I think that when it comes to like other stuff that I've done, like personal projects, if we want to talk, if we want to talk about personal projects, like aside from a YouTube channel, in terms of programming, because I love programming, I would say that the engine that I'm working on is one of my greatest achievements, because it's like actually managed to get down to some of the low level nitty gritty of like C++ and like actually trying to eke out like performance and stuff. And like I've done like it's learning really. So for me, my greatest achievement would have to be like learning to do the stuff that I've learned to do, or my YouTube channel. And I don't see why it can't be both, because I do value learning a lot. But yeah. What else does other people say? None. Hugh Jarsz, I want to know what Planet Walk considers their greatest comeback. My greatest comeback. I don't know. I don't know. I've gotten. I feel like I've had so many bangers, but I can't remember them all the time. Hugh Jarsz says, "What's something that you most want to achieve in life?" The thing that I most want to achieve in life is to make a game that does well, and I do hope that with this game engine that I'm working on that I can like do that, because the reason why I worked on the game engine was to basically create a tool for making a game, because like this tool doesn't exist, and to make this tool, I kind of have to like just make an engine. So it's like, okay, well, if I'm going to make an engine, well, if I'm going to make this tool, I might as well make an engine, because I could always like just make a tool and import the results of that tool into GameMaker, but that would also mean that the game would run slowly, and the game was starting to like dip below 1,000 frames per second in terms of like capacity. So I was like, at least capacity on my computer. So I was like, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in C++ into this other thing, and we are going to, because there's a few issues that GameMaker has, and we're going to like utilize threading. GameMaker, I think, only utilizes threading for audio, if I am correct. But yeah. My greatest achievement was in life over 20 years ago. I need to do something grander somehow eventually. Yeah. I always want to do like something more. And like maybe I'll be able to like do like other things in life. There are like some things that I would like to do. Like I'd like to like, if I could do stuff like political stuff, then that would be cool. There is one thing that could top it, but top the whole YouTube channel as an achievement, but like at the moment I have to wait on a few people, and like even if I do wait on a few people, there's no guarantee that it will happen. So you know, that's just something I have to wait for, and I know one of the people who could help with that is in chat, so you know who you are. Hugh says, my greatest achievement is achieving 10,000 tons. Oh, Debatable D says, what about Godot, an extendable game engine? You know, that could work. The thing that I like about The thing that I like about like working on my own game engine is it does really help with me learning how things work at a lower level, right? I've seen some of the stuff of how GameMaker does things, and the GameMaker doing things isn't bad. It's just that it doesn't. I feel like sometimes it does not do things in the most optimal way, or at least in a way, or at least in a way that could do things better. And like the way that I'm writing my game engine is I'm literally like decoupling the rendering thread from and I could probably, now that I think about it, probably didn't even need to do that, but oh well. Not sure about everyone waiting for Godot is pretty mature now. Not quite for heavy 3D yet, but 2D and light 3D is good. Yeah. So my game is 2D, but it'll have like a lot of 3D assets. And I've written 2 different GLTF passes by now. So yeah, it'll have a lot of light 3D, because like 3D is like, the reason why 3D is complex and why 2D seems simple is because like 3D has its own set of optimizations, right? Like when it comes to something like Unreal Engine, and there's so many optimizations to the 3D stuff that it does under the hood. This is like culling, trying to get, essentially just trying to make the 3D work better, because you don't want, certain things, you don't want it to be too loadful on the, I don't even know if that's a word, but that's the word I'm going for. Whereas 2D, you don't generally have as many triangles, but you can get 2D to a point where it's slow. And I have seen 2D get to a point where it's slow. Probably due to like GameMaker not optimizing stuff properly, but yeah. And like I have actually, the thing that I'm working on is going to do something that not many 2D engines do. Front to back 2D culling. So to explain this, when it comes to rendering, there are 2 ways you can. Well, there's a few ways you can use combinations and stuff, but generally you can either render things front to back or back to front, right? 2D, if you want transparency, you have to render from back to front, because when you render from front to back, essentially what you are doing is the pixels that have been filled in when you go from front to back, they will essentially obscure the ones behind it, meaning that you don't actually have to render the ones behind it, and that saves a lot. 3D games will often do front to back and have a bunch of other optimizations that they'll do on top of that. 2D games, however, will generally render back to front. And the reason why 2D games do this is because they'll have a lot of transparency, because they can, you're generally not doing as many triangles in 2D. So, because, yeah, you're actually still dealing with triangles in 2D rather than actually just squares like you might think. Anyway, when you render front to back, you get rid of pixels. When you render back to front, you don't get rid of those pixels. Everything that gets rendered after the, if I render one thing and then I render the second thing and then I render the third thing from back to front, regardless of whether the third thing obscures the second thing will still get rendered, because that has to be rendered before the third thing. And there are a few other things to keep in mind, like when it comes to front to back. There are some things that may be a bit further in front that will overwrite other things, and that is generally when 2 things will intersect, or when a mesh is. Because I don't think that the GPU optimizes meshes for stuff automatically. I think that the order that you send it to the GPU is the order, or the order that you send the triangles to the GPU is the order that they are going to be rendered in. Anyway, so that will do that. Hello. No, backface culling is actually a different thing. Backface culling is when you have a triangle, right? So you can imagine triangles as facing a certain way. right? And that's done based on whether the order of the points is clockwise or counterclockwise. Backface culling essentially means that when the triangle is facing away from the camera, you can't see it. But if it is facing towards the camera, you can see it. And that's essentially so that you don't need to render things that are pointing away from the camera, because like, why would you need, if you've got a really chunky 3D object, why would you want to have render the stuff that is pointing away from the camera? That, you know, you don't even want to process those triangles in the vertex shader, so you just discard it before it even gets to that kind of stuff. Wait, no, you do have to process them in the vertex shader. My bad. But in other shaders, you probably don't want to process them, because I just remembered matrix transformations happen in the vertex shader. Yeah. So but yeah, you do want to discard. You don't want to like deal with all the thing of having to send that triangle to the GPU, especially if the triangles aren't ordered in the right way. Then you know, yeah. But backface culling is a different thing. Essentially, what this is it's called the depth testing. Depth testing is where you... so essentially it's where you have what's called a depth texture, I think. There's also like another word for it, I think. I think it's called Z something. Z-plane, Z. I can't remember what it's called. Z-buffer. That's what it's called. It's called a Z-buffer. I remember it because the PS1 didn't have one. Anyway, so you have a Z-buffer, and essentially when something gets rendered, it also gets rendered to the Z-buffer. But the Z-buffer doesn't render the pixel data. It essentially has a bit of data, actually not a bit of data, it's more like several bits of data, but essentially they match to the pixels of your regular color buffer. And it'll essentially say, how far away from the camera is this? And so if you try to render another thing, it can basically say, how far away from the camera is this? And if it's closer to the camera, well, then it's going to overwrite anything that's on top of it. But if it's further away, then it just doesn't process that. It's a way to cut down on the... because essentially in programming, you have this, or in graphics, you have this thing called overdraw. And you want to cut down on overdraw. You don't want to like overdraw too much. There are reasons to have overdraw, of course, like some fur effects that I've found. They make good use of overdraw to be able to render stuff. But essentially, by cutting down on overdraw, you don't have to deal with as much stuff to render, meaning your frame gets rendered faster. So yeah, so that is, so yeah, where was it going? You draw that, oh yeah, something, like drawing something in front of another thing, and then it just gets rid of the thing behind it. That makes it faster, and a lot of 2D games don't do that because, again, transparency. And what I'm thinking of doing is I'm going to have two rendering passes. There is the solid rendering pass, and then there is the transparent rendering pass. Solid is front to back, transparent is back to front. And it also allows me to group like different textures. If I'm doing like a transparent texture, that can be on one texture page, whereas all the solid stuff will be on a separate texture page, which does allow for less texture swapping, because texture swapping is not a thing that you want to do. Anyway, so you render that, and then you can do like different effects on like the front to back pass, and that allows you to do more different things, because I'm going to be using a lot of shaders, and I do want to cut down on the because I actually think, funnily enough, that the graphics might actually be the bottleneck, which is not what you get in 2D games. I want to use shaders to make my job a lot easier. A lot of games, they just rely on art drawn by people, but like I don't have that luxury. I mean, I could simplify the graphics down a bit, but I also want my game to look just really nice. So you know, like I'll have shaders to make everything look pretty. Besides, I can make some pretty looking things with shaders, like just some simple noise. I actually managed to take one of the textures. Did you look into Noita? It was also a custom engine made to deal with the fact that every pixel is an object. I have heard of that, yeah. Haven't played it, but yeah, like that is impressive. But yeah, I do get why they would need to do that, because that would have a lot of like, I've dealt with like GPU sending things from the GPU to the CPU, and that takes a lot. It takes a lot to send things between the GPU and the CPU, and the reason is because they exist and they're their own thing. So with Noita, I'd say that it needs a lot of memory, actually. I once decided, in order to do something, I was going to copy the entire scene. I was going to, at the start of a room, the entire scene would be rendered and then copied over to the CPU or to RAM. Or at least the entire scene of a certain thing. It used, how much megabytes was it? 56 megabytes, I think. To be fair, like, I do often, like, uncompress, and, like, with what I'm doing right now, what I do is I take the audio, and rather than streaming it, I uncompress it. I might see if I can optimize that a little bit. Like, maybe have certain things that have, like, certain flags that I can, go, hey, hey, raise this flag, and then it starts loading more stuff. Because, like, loading shouldn't take too long. Hopefully. At least if I do it right. Every pixel is essentially part of the simulation happening. Each pixel is rock or sand or fire or water, etc., and they have to adhere to physics. Yeah. I do know the basics of Noita, just haven't played it. But yeah, that does seem very tricky, and I'm not going to try that. The hardest part will actually be collision. But I'm thinking of doing like something like Final Fantasy VII did with collision. Like they had a bunch of triangles, and it just worked out what triangle the player was on, at least for the world map. That's what Final Fantasy VII did. And so, there would be like... And I think I'll do that for a decent amount of collision. Other areas of collision will need its own like thing. But like that's because the collision will be 3D in like certain areas. And so it's like, okay, well, I want the player to go up and down. But it sounds cool. I'd like to, I look forward to when I finally get the engine done. Like, I usually, I do know that when I do like the streams, like the streamathon streams, I will often like pull up some code and just work on that while I'm also responding to a video. I need to get better at like coding and responding to videos at the same time, because that would be cool to be able to do. I think they went with an entity component system, separating the functional logic from the data to minimize memory and improve the performance. Yeah. I imagine that there was a lot of threading as well. Like, just like tons of threads. I actually wonder, like, maybe I think what they probably did is they probably did a lot with, because the GPU, thing that GPU is really good at is threading. So if you have something like, I'm trying to think of the name of it, a compute shader that would do well. The only issue is that again, sending data from the GPU to CPU can take time, but like as the GPU, it doesn't matter sometimes, I think. I don't know. I'd have to look into how they actually did that. Sounds cool though. Anyway, I will be ending up the stream. It was a nice stream. I yapped for a long time, and I yapped for about different things. Thank you, Hugh, for like getting me to yap about stuff that wasn't politics, because that was fun to like come up with a different topic. I was kind of wondering what else can I talk about, and then Hugh was like, oh, you know, achievements and stuff, and then that got to, you know, other things. Anyway, I have a video coming out in 2 days. Not today, but two days away. Video's all already recorded. It's going to be a fun video. Anyway, so make sure you go check that out. Go check that out when it comes out, because, you know, I'm gonna try and make a few more videos next month, hopefully. But yeah, I'll try to enjoy the rest of my birthday. I hope I do have a good rest of my birthday, and I hope that you have a good rest of your day. Oh yeah, leave a like and subscribe if you like this video, the stream. Leave a comment. Let me know what I should do for future streams. Like, I feel like I was missing something. Yeah, there we go. I will see you in the next video. Between you and me, thank you for watching.